Hey, it is Mari. I am here. It's the premiere of North London is ours. You're watching us on two channels. That's Tottenham Away and Soccer Sessions. So we're doing this for this week and next week. We're gonna put the link online to switch over to Soccer Sessions. But enough of me. Let me get the guest on and hope I do this correctly. All right. Oh, no. Yes. I done this correctly. All right. Need to make sure we're on the correct side, you know. I know you don't want to touch anything white and still you don't want to touch anything red. Like I said, once again, if people can hear me over the music, we are streaming on two channels. We're streaming on, of course, Tottenham Away, the mothership, and streaming on Soccer Sessions. The reason why we're doing it this week and next week, so we can give you a preview, so you can start watching this show on Soccer Sessions, along with Best of the Prem and some other shows, a Legends show that we're gonna have, and some other things on that other channel. But I will do enough talking. I want to invite our guests who are in the building this week. Our co-host is TJ, but TJ's stuck in traffic. He went to the Arsenal game last night versus the MLS All-Stars, but he will be in here in a matter of minutes.
Another bottle job, Mahri. Another bottle job. Another Arsenal bottle job.
That's not a good sign. That is
another Arsenal bottle job.
Not a good sign for Arsenal, man. But TJ will be here in a couple of minutes. Big up to the people in the chat. We'll get to you guys. Actually, we got Rams, we got Tony, we got Fleischer. Big up LA 007. We got Brian. Big up Brian. Leave you out. Dean, Mark, Andy, Rams. And I know some Arsenal people are going to be coming in. Spread the word. And this show's for us. So, who do I start with? I'm going to start with our guest. We'll start with the enemy. Stefan, how are you feeling? What were your expectations after yesterday's preseason?
Mahri, I thank you first for having me on. Expectations for me this season are after watching yesterday are through the roof. I think that we need to win the league this year. I think we have looking at the actual players we've signed and just watching against the MLS All-Stars, who, yes, it's the MLS. It's nowhere near the actual same level as England. However, there were some, there was Benteke was playing. There were some players, there that were actually good. And Arsenal just made them look like yesterday they were like fourth division play, like not even fourth division. It was a training session, and I was just so impressed with especially the new signings. Timber came on and was just he's basically Zinchenko on the right side of defense with much more defensive attributes. So I'm super, super excited about the actual season. I'm looking forward to it. I think we have an extremely deep squad if we actually keep everybody fit. We'll talk about that later, Mahri, about the actual transfers and where maybe we actually, how we actually rate things and where maybe we could add more for us and for Spurs. And so, yeah, for me, I was super impressed yesterday. They played so well that they made our away kit look really good. So I actually started warming to it after I watched the game, even though I hated it at first. So
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah. So for me, just overall expectations for me this year, I think with Man City losing a number of key players, if you're reading, Kyle Walker is gonna go to Bayern Munich. Mahrez is going to Saudi Arabia. Yes, they're going to replace them, but I don't think they can replace someone as valuable as Gundogan was, especially for the last 2 years. I just don't think there's a direct replacement who will have the same immediate impact. So for me, I think Arsenal have an amazing opportunity next year to win the league, and that's my expectation. So yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to you. We played our first game this past Tuesday. We didn't win, but there were some positive signs in regards to one end of the field. What are your expectations looking at the first game?
Personally, I think we're in big trouble. I know the majority of Spurs fans are hyping everything up and they're super excited and they're all super positive and optimistic. But this is what happens every season, pre-season. We do this every single year, whether it's Poch, whether it's Mourinho, whether it's Conte. The season we finished fourth going into last season, and we're doing it again. I just feel that at Spurs, as a fan base, we never learn. We just don't learn from how this club is run. And doesn't matter whether you're Levy out, Enoch out, in the middle. Every single Spurs fan said that at the end of the season, we must sign a new centre-back. We need to rebuild the defence. And what's happened is we haven't done the one thing every single Spurs fan said we needed to do. That's the one thing that every fan was completely united on. And we haven't done it. I don't care if we do it later on. I don't care if we do it next week. The fact is we are going into the new season unprepared without that defence ready to go. The game against West Ham sums up everything that I thought would happen. We were actually very, very good. We played really good football. Much better than what I thought. I thought it would take longer than that, but they've picked up the way Postecoglou wants to play. And I think we're going to give a lot of teams a good game this season. The problem is, any team that has a strategy of counter-attacking us or trying to pin us in and chip away that defence, they're going to get a lot of joy. And the fact that West Ham only had 4 shots and they scored 3 goals. I mean, what's going to happen when we play a team and they have 10 shots or 15 shots? What are we going to do? Concede 6? And it's not just the centre-backs, Mahri. None of our fullbacks, wing-backs can defend. Porro can't defend. Udoji didn't look like he can defend. Sessegnon, he's injured. Spence, we don't know. Chicken Royale, maybe he can defend, but he's suspect. Perisic can't defend. There's no players in the wing-back roles or full-back roles that can actually defend. So it's not just the centre-backs. And I don't think we've got a proper number 6, an out-and-out number 6. I'm talking about a Victor Wanyama. I'm talking about a Rodri. I'm talking about a Thomas Partey. We don't have anyone like that. But maybe Basuma can be that player, but I don't think he's that defensive type of player. So I've got big concerns, dude. I think we're going to play really good football this year. I think we're going to be causing teams a lot of problems. And I think a lot of people are going to be worried about us. But at the end of the day, we're going to collapse because we don't have a defence or a holding mid. If we go and buy a number 6 and 2 centre-backs in the next week, I've got hope. I'll change my position. But as it stands now, I'm worried. And the news that broke out today, whether you want to believe it or not, that Harry Kane doesn't want to sign a new contract at Spurs. We're now in a deadlock between, is Levy going to let this guy go for free or is he going to cash in whilst he can? And whilst this is happening and Kane doesn't sign a contract, there's uncertainty, there's unrest, the media, fans are all jumping on it. And that is problematic. We want Ange to have, a smooth introduction to the club. We want him to just be able to focus on coaching, not having to deal with players, the best player at the club leaving potentially. So, look, I'm positive about the way we're going to play football, but I'm not positive about the results, man. And that's, for me, what is the most important thing. So I'm not one of these happy clappers that's like, yeah, hurrah, we're back. No. And we're still 2 injuries away from a crisis. So let's see. The transfer window's not shut yet. I'm going to make my final assessment on the 1st of September. I've said that to everyone and every channel I go on.
Yeah. No, you stated a lot of facts, and it looks like breaking news. Even that one for the future deal, Ashley Phillips. I mean, Blackburn's in financial trouble. If Levy is trying to lowball him, I mean, I saw the deal they're looking for is for 5 mil, but he wants 3. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah. Thank you guys who are chatting. I starred some of the comments, and we are going to talk about some of the comments. But let's talk about this window. We're in the heat of this window, and we are looking at. Let's pull up what Arsenal has done. We'll pull up what they have done in this window. Actually, no, it looks like it will be Tottenham first. So we'll go with what we picked up in the window. Tottenham business: James Madison, Vicario, Manuel Solomon. Like Stel says, Stefan, we got hyped. And if you know anything about Tottenham, we live on PR hype. But
Yeah.
Madison was our number one priority. Our number one priority was center backs. But Madison, from even Arsenal fans, people said, wow, that's probably one of the best businesses of all the windows because, Spurs really need it. But is that fool's gold, Stefan?
No, it's definitely for the actual money that you paid and for the output that he has. It's an amazing deal. Getting him for 40, what is it, 46 million euros, that is a great deal. But my one concern is that what I've noticed with Spurs is the way they sign players is it's basically opportunism. There's no actual plan. So for example, everybody knew, I remember, I think it was during the January transfer window whilst Conte was still there, that a lot of journals broke that Spurs were the favorites to sign Madison in the summer. So that tells me this has been in the pipeline way before Ange showed up to Spurs. That, if I'm a Spurs fan, would worry me a little bit, because that tells me that although he's a great player, does he actually fit the actual system? Because Madison as a player is a really good player on the ball. But the thing that concerns me with him specifically is off the ball. And one of the major reasons I think a number of the other big teams didn't move for him, like a Man United, they could have moved for him instead of Mason Mount. They chose not to. So I think his off the ball work is concerning. His injury record is also concerning. But I mean, if Harry Kane stays, you've always needed someone to replace Eriksen since he left. So I think he's definitely a very good, a really good signing. I expect a lot from him this year. But I just thing is, the thing I noticed in the actual West Ham game was that, I don't know, maybe because they've been playing, together recently and they kind of don't have chemistry yet, but Kane kept dropping into the pockets of space where Madison was.
Yeah.
And so kind of Madison looked a little, I wouldn't say lost, but he looked like he didn't look like he knew what he was doing exactly within that system. And maybe that needs to be ironed out and fixed. So but overall, great for Madison, definitely a great sign.
Stefan, you say that, right? If in the second half, what I noticed was that we were getting a lot more through balls to the striker, let's say Richarlison, when Lo Celso played in the Madison role. But I don't think it was just because Lo Celso had a good game. I think it's because Richarlison stayed up front, so he wasn't getting in Lo Celso's way. I think when Kane, if Madison was on the pitch and Richarlison was up front and not dropping back, I think we would have seen more from Madison. That's kind of how I saw it.
To be honest, maybe you're actually right, but I just think Lo Celso fits because I before the show I read up quite a bit on Ange in terms of the system he used at Celtic. If you look at the the characteristics of what he wants from his three midfielders. He wants two eights, but the two eights have to be specifically not per se creative players, but they have to be ball carriers. If you compare Madison and Lo Celso is definitely a more athletic and better ball carrier than Madison. So that's why I think the system looked a little bit better than Lo Celso. However, the hype that I heard after that game, I mean, West Ham's midfield was like, it wasn't even their B team. It was like their C team midfield, was their youth team. So that's why I think Lo Celso had as much joy as he did. I honestly, I don't get why like
West Ham's a relegation side, dude. West Ham's a relegation team.
no,
right?
forget that. Yeah, but they still have good players in midfield. So, but the Brazilian guy.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Steph. I agree with you.
So-
West Ham for me isn't this wow team.
No,
I mean-
but what I'm saying is that Spurs fans need to stop kind of just hoping that Lo Celso is going to work out after 4 years, after he failed continuously, kept getting injured, including when he went to
But he's never played. He's never played in an attacking Spurs team. He played under Poch for two months, but Lo Celso got injured, and then he played under Conte, Nuno, Jose.
Mourinho. Still, he had a really good spell for like 6-7 games under.
Yeah, but these
Mourinho.
aren't attacking teams, though. They aren't teams that want to dominate possession. They aren't teams that want to control the play. These are teams that are more pragmatic. Let's absorb pressure and then pounce. He's never. Same with Ndombele. In fact, none of these players, other than Kane and Son, have really played.
But
And
still,
Dyer.
but
And
still,
Dyer was dropped when Poch was
no,
here. So.
I completely agree with, but I would argue that Lo Celso works best in exactly the counter attacking system for Mourinho and for Conte, because at Villarreal, where he was successful, he played under Emery. Emery's system is counter attacking. They break suddenly with the actual eights, including him, and that's why he actually had a really good season there. And so
but we signed him from Real Betis when he played as the number 10,
Yeah.
as an attacking player. So
I'd be okay. Yeah, maybe. I'll be honest. I didn't watch him at Real Betis, but
Look, Stefan, I agree. We shouldn't get hyped off one game. I agree. We shouldn't get hyped. All I said was for the 45 minutes he played, he had a good game. If he does it for the next 3, 4, 5 games in a row, then we can begin to get excited. But if the next 2 games he flops, it's like, yeah, Stefan called it. This is what Stefan said on Thursday night.
It was a really good game because I actually enjoyed watching Spurs for the first time in like 5
You
years.
were good.
No,
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that.
In terms of, it was actually interesting. It wasn't just sitting back and then counter-attacking like under Conte Mourinho. There was actually the thing I really was impressed with was that there was already a pattern of play where it seemed like the players looked free. Looked free, like they looked like they knew what they were doing. But in terms of the guy who I really wasn't convinced by, I'm very worried about this, is the goalkeeper. He was really unconvincing. His supposedly he's good with the ball at his feet. The second goal, I think, from West Ham was because of him, because with the ball at his feet, he was horrific. Yeah, I think he tried to pass it and it went for a corner, which then led to the goal. So I'm very worried. And also the goalkeeper, the fact that he's new to the league, he needs to.
It's too early to tell, though, isn't it? It's too early to tell.
Okay, yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know.
He played 45 minutes. It's like, I think.
No, and from that game, I was quite impressed, but I saw people criticize them. Reguilon, I thought, played very well.
Going forward, yeah. Defensively.
Yeah,
he's another one. I forgot to mention him. He's another wing back, fullback that can't defend.
No, but that's the thing. Me and
Mahri, Bowen pushed him over. He pushed him over with ease.
He's not a physical defender, but he's good going forward. The way he actually interlinked with Solomon.
Going forward, he is good. He is good, Stefan. He is good going forward. He was always good.
But defensively, like if he plays against Saka, for example, with the Emirates, I'd be very worried. Because he
Dude, I'll be worried if any defender plays at the Emirates. Any defender at the Emirates, I'm worried.
No, but
I'll be honest.
Okay, I'm talking about like even now, if he goes to Villa and plays against Diaby, because Diaby's going to Villa. Like I'd be
That's a
Yeah,
great
here we go.
signing, man. That's such
Yeah.
a
what
good
a,
signing.
what a
Villa.
signing.
Such a good
Like
signing.
Villa, I'm
Which
super
we're going
impressed.
to get back to your question about if Arsenal could pull it out this year, because I think the Premier League is going to be a bloodbath. I'm telling you now.
Mar-
But
Mari,
we'll get to there. We'll get to there. But yeah, now no, our business is incomplete. We don't have the center backs and
defenders.
defenders, but the center backs that is huge. We don't have a partner for Romero. We can't sign a deal for Tapsoba. You know, where the Phillips deal looks like it's going to not come through. So this is, I mean, it is terrible. And yay, we finally got the man of the hour.
Hey, the fraud.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Washington
What's up?
Roman.
Oh
Washington
man,
Roman. Big
bounce
up.
with it. Bounce with it. Let's get to Arsenal's signings. The big one being Declan Rice, Havertz coming in, Timber coming in.
Quality.
So let me give my opinion of Arsenal's business, and me and Steph will go, and then you guys will see if we are correct. I have to say, Stan Kroenke, the Kroenkes have touched. Oops, sorry about that. Have touched gold with every other team that they have owned. Everything from the NHL team to the NFL team, the Rams, to the NBA team, the Nuggets.
And Mari, the lacrosse team even. They won the
Yeah.
championship there also.
And I know Lee Gunner and those who have complained about the Kroenkes, but if I'm an Arsenal fan, I have to smile of what the Kroenkes have done. This is showing ambition, and they're not done yet. They're trying to get forward. Currently speaking, the question is, has they done enough to catch City? We'll talk about that. But the signing of Timber shows they wanted depth. The signing of Declan Rice, I know, was a lot, but you got to think about it. He's going to be there for 5 to 6 years. You kind of want a steady Eddie in the midfield. The Kai Havertz one, I know people hate, but for some strange reason, I think he gets a rebirth with Arsenal. I think he is I'm not saying he's Kevin De Bruyne, but I think he's going to have a turnaround of his career. And he scored yesterday. So maybe that's early signs, but I hate to say it, man. I'm an honest person, but Arsenal is doing some good business. Still, Arsenal's business.
Declan Rice is a quality signing, man. Any way you look at it, he's a top signing. He's young. He's got loads of years ahead of him. He's only going to get better, surrounded by better players. I think they've paid over the odds, but you know what? If you really want a player, just pay the price and get the deal done, and that's what they've done. I think this depends on whether they keep Partey. If they lose Partey, I don't see it as an improvement to Arsenal. Just if they keep Partey, then it's like, whoa, they got two really good players in that role. So I think he's a good signing. I think Timber's a top signing. I think they've smashed it signing Timber. I think he's going to be very good at Arsenal. It's exactly the kind of player I was hoping we would sign, but we're going to go with we're going to go with Reguilon and Chicken Royale doing the business. Kai Havertz, though, listen, man, that's a lot of money for a player that was he went missing at Chelsea. I know he's popped up with some big goals here and there, Champions League final, and he's done some bits here and there, but I was listening to Talk Sport last night. They had Chelsea fans calling in and they had Jason Cundy talking about it. Yeah. Nobody spoke positive about this. And I'll be honest with you, I think where do you play, man? You got Trossard, you got Saka, you got Odegaard, you got Martinelli, you got Jesus, you got Nketiah, you got what's his name? I don't know what's going on, Balogun. I would have spent the money if I was Arsenal on a really good number 9, like an Osimhen. I would have gone and bought a really good number 9 because
No,
where does Havertz play? The number 9? He's not a number 9. So where do you play him?
No, he's gonna play Xhaka's position. That's why we actually signed him.
Xhaka's an enforcer.
But
Havertz
still, he played that position and kind of like a hybrid 8-10 for Leverkusen, where he was one of the biggest talents in world football. Tell me, just to continue your argument about Chelsea fans and Jason Cundy and all of these, tell me one attacking player that has been signed by Chelsea in the last 5 years under the tutelage of Tuchel, Lampard, and Potter. In the last 4 to 5 years, that was actually successful. You can't tell me one player. Pulisic went from being one of the biggest talents in Europe and one of the best young wingers to being pretty much like they had to almost beg.
Yeah, but they won the Champions League, Stefan.
Yeah, okay. They won, but they didn't win the Champions League because of their attacking talent. They won the Champions League because they had a really good defense. They barely scored in that run. Apart from the actual Real Madrid game, their best players in that run were
they got to two cup finals and they lost on penalties to Liverpool.
Yes, but that's just the results of the team. Tell me one attacking player that
because they scored goals. You got to score goals to get to these games, right?
Okay, still. Tell me one attacking player that.
You're saying okay, but I'm countering everything you're saying. It's not okay.
Yes, but they still have Kante. They still had Kovacic. They still had Rudiger. They still had good. Mendy was probably the best goalkeeper in the world in that run. Yeah. So
Stefan, he might turn out good for you guys, right? No one knows, right? He might turn out to be like everyone might say, "Wow, what a piece of business by Arsenal." But you're asking for my opinion. I think Declan Rice is a 10 out of 10 signing. I think Timber's going to be a fantastic signing. I can't buy into this Kai Havertz hype, man. I can't. I'm being, that's my opinion.
Yeah. For me, it's not Kai Havertz's fault as much because I just think Chelsea, especially Thomas Tuchel, who I rate as a coach, Thomas Tuchel, he ruins attacking players. He ruined Ziyech, he ruined Pulisic, he ruined every single attacking player that they signed at Chelsea. All of them. He put Pulisic and Ziyech as right wing backs still. So, and he played Havertz number 9 when Havertz played most of his career at Leverkusen.
I think Tuchel done really well at Chelsea. I just think that second season he didn't get the kind of players he needed, and it just collapsed. And look,
he didn't get the kind of. They spent 600 million.
Chelsea's been like this for a few years now. They've been like that for a few years now. I think Poch is going to change Chelsea's fortunes.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Watch him get sacked in
No way. No way.
He's got no players still. He's got no players.
If you want a manager in world football to go in and inherit a crop of young players, Poch, he's the man.
And win nothing at the same time.
Yeah, but that's because he wasn't backed at Tottenham, Stefan. He wasn't backed.
He wasn't backed.
He's going to get back in.
He had Harry Kane at his best. He had Dele Alli when he was the best young player of the year. I'm fed up of this bullshit by Spurs fans that he wasn't back. He had plenty of cup finals that
but as soon as there's an injury, as soon as there's an international duty, as soon as there's a suspension, look at the bench. Look what came off the bench. Sissoko, Winks. Who was that guy we bought? Vincent Janssen. Dude, the drop-off was massive. Massive. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, but you use Vincent Janssen. He was bought before Poch came. So he was bought during.
Okay, we didn't have a backup striker under Kane. There wasn't.
That's true. That's true. I agree
so
with you on that.
So you can talk to me about Kane and Son, but we have no squad depth. The same reason you cost the title last year is the same reason I'm to Spurs, which is why I said you're not going to melt. You didn't have the squad in depth, and this season you think you're going to win the league. I tell you what, with Champions League as well, you need to have a massive squad.
And now pretty much we do. We're if Partey stays, which I think he will. We have Partey, Rice, and Jorginho as holding mids, which even Man City don't even have that depth in the number 6.
You can play Zinchenko up there too.
Yeah,
saying.
you can put Zinchenko there. You can even put Timber there because Timber played as a 6 at Ajax. You can even put Kivior, who nobody's talking about him, but Kivior is going to have I predict Kivior is going to have a really big season. This is another example of great scouting, which Spurs fans can complain. But for example, me and Mahri were talking about this. I am shocked that you guys want to sign Van de Ven still. I am just read his basic stats are absolute rubbish. Eric Dyer has better stats than this guy. And you guys are after him. Why? Because
Dude, I'm not the happy clapper at Spurs. I'm the wrong guy to direct this. I'm not the happy clapper.
Eric Dyer actually has better stats than
I call out the other Spurs fans, and I'm the one that gets it.
No, but like
but Van de Ven is young.
Yeah, okay.
And Dyer is 29. He's about to get a testimonial.
I'll tell you what I do have confidence in at Spurs. I have confidence in Postecoglou. I actually think we've got a really good manager at Spurs. I genuinely think we've got our Poch back, if we're going to call it that. The Spurs fans want that Poch vibe back. I think we've got it. If we back this guy, and every manager's an if at Tottenham. If we back this guy, I think Ange is going to shock everyone. I really do. What I saw Spurs do with 1 week of this guy, give him 6 months, we're going to cook. No. We are going to cook. But we've got to get these players in. I still think we're 6-7 players short. And that's no exaggeration.
Still, he's going to play this way. He reminds me a lot of Harry Redknapp, which is he's a really good man manager, but he'll always play the same way. So he's going to come to the Emirates and get pumped 6-2 because that way, if you play like this against,
if we don't have a defense, yes. If we don't have a defense,
even with a defense, the other teams have better midfield. You don't only need defenders.
Dude, Bentancur, Bissouma, Maddison is as good as you're going to get in the league.
Bentancur's out until.
Yeah, but once he's back in 2-3 months apparently. But
Bentancur,
our midfield actually looks okay. Bissouma looked really good the other day.
But it's okay, but it's not as good as Man City's midfield. It's not as good as Arsenal's midfield. It's not
as good as it gets. If you look at the top 6, I think our midfield's better than United's.
It's better than Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount?
Mount? Come on, Mount.
Okay, Bruno. I agree. Mount
Bruno's inconsistent.
But Casemiro
is elite. Casemiro's elite. Bissouma's at Tottenham.
No, but for me, in my opinion, Bissouma is also very overrated. Højbjerg, who everybody craps on in the Spurs,
is overrated. Dude.
Is better than him.
No, he's not. Bissouma's levels above Højbjerg, man. Come on.
He had COVID, and then he got injured. It's like a new signing. I could almost put Bissouma as a new signing because it really feels like a new signing. I think he's going to be the player of the year for our team. Because you can see yesterday, just the link-up play with him and Maddison should have scored, but he
looks like the Brighton Bissouma. He looks like the Brighton Bissouma, which is what
I don't think they're even close to United's midfield.
Yeah,
I don't know where you're getting that.
West Ham didn't even press you guys. It was a joke. They just sat back the whole time. If I was playing in midfield, I would have stretched.
And Bruno presses.
Yes, he does. He just presses like an idiot. He has no coherent system.
Dude,
he presses.
All I'm saying is when we have Bentancur, if we get the Bentancur we had,
I'll put this Bentancur hype too. Stop with this Bentancur.
No. Bentancur's top.
Tell me one big game.
Dude, Bentancur's quality.
Bentancur is good. Bissouma is good, but who else? Who else? That's my point. Bentancur is good. Bissouma is good. Who else?
Madison, Saka for goal, assists, and goals last season.
Oh my God! Here we go comparing right wings to center mids again. I don't get that, and I'm not going to get into it. But I think that Madison has not proved it yet.
Madison was in the top 3 midfielders last season for goal.
I know, Stel. I understand that, Stel. But he has not played.
You can't ignore it, right?
Well, no, I'm not ignoring it. I'm just saying that the comparisons that you and Elias are freaking doing about comparing James Madison's stats, who's only in a dead sea. I know you're not. I'm just saying that you and Elias were both doing it.
Big up,
and
Elias.
it's big up Elias, but you guys are both doing it, and I think it's a dead argument. Respectfully. You got James Madison, who's coming in from a dead relegation team, who should do well within Tottenham, but you can't say honestly that you guys are level, that you guys are even close to United's midfield. I think actually, you know what? I'll bring that back. You guys are close, but they're not as great. I'm just saying.
But that's what I said. I said I think our midfield is as good as most other midfields in the league, and I think they are. I think obviously Man City.
Yeah, but they're not. It's not elite.
Of course, Arsenal.
It's not in the top.
Of course, Arsenal above us. Yes, it is.
How?
Spurs midfield is in the top four.
No. Stop. Not Spurs midfield. There's three.
Okay.
There's only three specific midfielders, right?
Okay.
Bentancur, Basuma, Madison. Bentancur, Basuma, Madison. Those three.
He's not
Other
great.
than Man, who takes our fourth place then? Who's got a fourth better midfield than us?
Liverpool.
Who's that?
Liverpool. They got
McAllister is definitely better than
No. The three together. McAllister,
Szoboszlai. We don't know. To be honest, yeah.
Forget that. We don't know.
Okay. They're kind of fourth. TJ, they're like fourth.
Thank you. That's my point. We're up there.
But you're
you got to take depth into consideration too. Still.
Yeah, depth-wise, we're not, dude. Depth-wise, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're talking top three, if we're cherry picking like that, yes, you're correct. You are correct.
Yeah, listen.
Wait, guys,
Man United.
I just remembered. Wait,
who's their depth? McFred, McTominay, and Fred. I mean,
wait, stop. Newcastle's midfield is serious, man. It's serious. Bruno
Guimaraes.
So here's what I will say: it's Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, top three, running away. And then it's like meh between
Liverpool,
Spurs and United and Liverpool.
TJ, man. Man United midfield for me, just because Bruno's numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, Casemiro's world class if he can stay on the field.
That's true. Class. Yeah, that's true. But Bruno's numbers are ridiculous. Like, I know he's maybe not
I just hate him.
I agree. Look, I agree, but I get that sometimes he loses the ball a lot, and the numbers kind of disguise how effective he is on the field, but they're still numbers. They're still stats. So Bruno is still really good. And I honestly think without Bruno, Man United would be nowhere near top four. Nowhere near.
Before I go to TJ's thoughts on the Arsenal transfer business and Tottenham, because he just came in, our co-host. Read a couple super chats. Coxy Normus, big up, says big love from Fiji. Oh man, I just read.
Sorry, man, you walked right into that.
Oh god.
Hey, it's worth the $5. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, thank you for the 5. Hey,
worth the $5.
Hey, yeah. Can see Edge working his magic already. It's only preseason, but looking good. Wish the Spurs best of luck. Hell. And we got Anthony, big up, LaFleur, who's in the house. If it's true that Kane will not sign a new contract, we're going to get to that. We'll get me and Stell's opinion and Arsenal's opinion about the Harry Kane saga. Then Levy needs to sell Kane to help fund 2 center backs that you need. Man, I hate the fact that it is when we have the money for the 2 center backs, but we'll discuss it. We'll discuss that. But going back to Arsenal business, Tottenham business. TJ, you want to start with Tottenham, and then
I'll start with Arsenal. I just saw him. It's fresh in the brain.
Yeah.
First of all, sorry, Mahri. Sorry, everybody, for being late. I'm really excited to be hosting this show with Mahri moving forward.
But
yeah, it is what it is. But I should be good moving forward. Really, really looking forward to working with Mahri and the Tottenham Away guys. Love this channel. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, looking forward to it. I just got back from DC. I just saw Arsenal live play the dead MLS All-Stars. It was an absolute joke. I knew we were going to win 5-0 and I called it, to be honest. So big up everybody that I met out there. And I see there's a couple of people in the chat that I actually that might have seen me there. So big up everybody in the chat. So Arsenal's transfer business, I agree with Stel to a point. I think Declan Rice class signing. I think he's going to be the future captain of Arsenal. He's just towering out there. Great. Obviously he didn't get in until till after halftime, but obviously we're just going to get him in a run out. I bet you he starts against Man United. That is not a friendly, by the way. We are going to beat them. We are going to go out there and we are going to beat them. Who else are we talking about? Urian Timber looked great. Was boss in the field out there again. Competition was dead, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him get a run out against United this weekend, and then obviously against Barcelona next week. Who else? Kai Havertz. I don't understand why everybody's just pulling the trigger on saying whether this guy is good or he's shit or whatever. I agree. I see a lot of different points. Kai Havertz, I don't think was utilized correctly at Chelsea. He had several chances to boss, and he didn't though. So I'm skeptical, right? Because I don't know where we're going to play him. Does he slot into the Xhaka role? We'll see. It's way too early to tell. But all these people that are getting gassed up about him scoring a volley against the MLS All-Stars need to pump the brakes. It's one game. We were up 4-0. They were dead. Okay, so let's just – I have a wait-and-see attitude with Kai Havertz now. I didn't understand the signing. I still kind of don't understand the signing, to be 100% honest with you. So I'm definitely in a wait-and-see, and I may be getting splinters on my ass from being on the fence. But at the same time, it would be disingenuous for me to shit on him, and it would be disingenuous for me to say, oh, he's the greatest. So we'll see. I don't want to see him at center forward, though. I will say that right now. We do need an out-and-out striker. I don't think we're going to bring one in during this transfer window. I really wish we would just go and get Ivan Toney, wait for them to come in the winter, but we'll get into that. So so far, Arsenal's transfer business has been good. We need to get some of the deadwood out of the club. We're not finished yet. I really don't think we're finished yet. The Sambi Lakongas of the world, the Nuno Tavashes of the world need to go. The Rob Holdings of the world need to go. I don't think Balogun needs to get a proper run out playing in the position that
Balogun's a good player, man.
Balogun looked great last night too.
He really
watched. So here's my point on Balogun, and I'm really glad that you brought this up, is that Arteta needs to stop playing him on the right. Stop playing him on the right. Play him in the position that he was born to play, which is a striker. He's an out-and-out striker. That's what he played at Reims. Play him there. See what he can do. Play him against Premier League teams and see what he can do before we sell him off to Inter Milan or whoever. I want to see him get a proper run out. He's better than Eddie Nketiah. I will say that right now. Right now. But Stefan, I would love to hear your rebuttal, because I don't understand where people are getting, oh, yeah, he's not better than Eddie Nketiah.
No, he's not. Okay, let me just.
Okay.
Okay, let me just explain why. He hasn't scored one Premier League goal yet.
Yeah, and gotten a chance.
He scored. He scored 22 goals in a league where Alex Lacazette finished as the top goal scorer.
Same league as Mbappe and Messi. Keep going.
Yes, in a team that finished 6th. So it's not like Lacazette played on a team that completely destroyed other teams.
Lacazette finished on a team that finished 11th.
Okay, I'm not. It was a great season. However, I don't think that he can come up in Arsenal and just say, I want to start. I want to be guaranteed minutes. No, you're not going to be guaranteed minutes. We're a big club. If you want to start, okay, we'll sell you for 50 million. If somebody puts 45, 50 million, I would sell him, in my opinion, because I don't think he's worth that amount of hype. I think he's a very talented player, but I think he also has faults, just like Nketiah. Nketiah, on the other hand, has shown that he did really well when
scored 4
Gabriel
goals.
Jesus, when Gabriel Jesus was injured. So for me, right now, Nketiah is ahead of him. Why? Because he had one good season in the French league. Now he's better than Eddie Nketiah.
Do you think Eddie Nketiah could score that many goals in the French league? That's a no.
I don't know.
Stefan, you couldn't answer it right away. That's why. No, it's the answer.
TJ, Lacazette couldn't score more than 4 goals in the Prem. He goes to France and scores 26 or 27 goals. I'm sorry.
Lacazette. Go ahead.
That immediately undermines your argument that this is like some sort of amazing accomplishment, because Lacazette was dead in the Prem. He couldn't score to save his life. And then he goes to Ligue 1 playing for a very average team and scores more goals than Mbappe and Neymar. So for me, like, the French league, people need to pump the brakes. It was the same hype with with Nicola Pepe, who scored 23 goals in the French league. If you
does that
remember,
mean Mbappe is shit? Does that mean Messi shit?
No, okay.
So what are you saying?
I'm not saying.
I'm tired of people. I'm tired of people saying that the French league is dead. It's still an elite European competition. I don't understand why people are saying, "Oh, it's a
call it." I wouldn't call it an elite competition because let's be honest, Mbappe and Neymar
Stefan,
play like 60% in the French league. Everybody knows this.
Isn't it a case maybe that all these players you mentioned that played in France, they played every single game every week. They were like the main choice. Yet at Arsenal, Pepe's, Balogun's, all these players, they're in and out. There's no consistent game time, because this has been my biggest criticism with a lot of Spurs players, where we're not sure. I'm like, stop dropping the player. Let the player have 10 games in a row, then decide. Whereas Balogun's never had a run of games. Pepe never had a run of
correct. And
how many games did Pepe play?
4 goals. 4 goals, Stefan. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. I don't think Nketiah is great, TJ, but I don't think Balogun is better than him. The other thing you're forgetting is at Stade Rennes, they played a system perfectly suited for his major skill, which is his pace. They played a counter-attacking over the actual top, quick passing through the line system, which Arsenal don't play. Arsenal are going to come up against teams that are going to defend super deep, and in which Balogun's speed and pace, he's really poor in the air, so he's going to be useless in terms of crosses. So his main attributes that everybody raves about will not be utilized for us, because we're going to play against pretty much every single team, apart from maybe Man City or Liverpool away or something like that, are going to play deep against us. So his major skill and major attribute will be completely obsolete. So that's why I think if somebody offers us 45 to 50 million pounds, we got to take it. Just sell him.
That's fair.
If somebody offers me over 40 million for him, I think he would be suicidal for one good season in the French league to not take it, TJ.
Well, no. Okay, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. If he's not going to get the minutes, then I want 50 million minimum. Okay, but saying that he is better than Eddie Nketiah is just a falsehood. It's just a falsehood. Eddie Nketiah could not finish for games at a time when this team needed goals. If Eddie Nketiah could have finished against Everton, if he could have finished against Southampton, if he could have finished against ABCD, he didn't. So if anything, get both of them out and get a new striker in.
Okay, TJ, I'm going to ask you a question. If you had the opportunity last year to switch Eddie Nketiah with Balogun, would the outcomes have changed? Be honest.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Come on. How?
100%. 100%.
How can you?
Would you take Balogun, Stefan, TJ? Would you take Balogun or Richarlison?
Oh, Balogun. Richarlison is one of the most rubbish.
I
just think it's and we're playing in what ifs.
Richarlison's
So, and we can move on after this, and we can go to Tottenham's transfer business, which I think is a lot more fun. But this is a very, me and Stefan's argument here. This is a big talking point within Arsenal right now. Honestly, like Stefan, one thing I think we can agree on is that these are kind of champagne problems at this point, right? Compared to the problems that we had last year.
If you're asking me perfect solution, I think Balogun has a higher ceiling, but currently the base ability at the moment, based on experience, proven track record, and Nketiah is ahead of him.
Yeah.
He is.
I just don't want to. The thing here that I don't want to see, Stefan, and then we can move on if that's okay.
Yeah.
Mahri. I don't want to see another. We sell him and then he turns into Serge Gnabry. I don't want to see another. No. There are several instances of that I'm not going to get into. But if we sell this kid and he ends up being a world beater, man, we are going to be kicking our own ass.
Balogun's a top player, guys.
Yeah, I know. And then again, Stefan, you need to go. Have you watched him play for the Americans? Did you watch those Nation League games? Those Nation League games? He was a baller, man. He's balled out. He balled out.
He knows how to score. I've never doubted, but you have to play the right system. Playing with his back to goal, playing physical, and trying to beat a deep block like Gabriel Jesus, which is dribbling past a few players, that's not his game, TJ. He's not going to be good playing for us. Do I think he's better, potentially better than Nketiah? Yes. If the perfect scenario for me would be to sell Eddie Nketiah for 30 million, 35 million, and keep Balogun and see what he does. Because for me, Eddie just...
So you're saying that you would want to keep Balogun instead of Nketiah? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, perfect scenario. But I'm talking
I didn't
realistically.
think that was what you were saying. Okay.
No, I know. No, because for me at the moment, it's unfair on Eddie Nketiah to say that Balogun is better than him because of one season in France. Like, for me, that's not fair. But
it's just... What has Nketiah done for us? That's the question that I have.
I'm bored of your Nketiah Balogun argument, man.
I know. I'm done. I'm done with it too. I'm done with it too.
Okay,
You guys want my thoughts on Tottenham business?
Yes.
You guys are dead. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So, TJ,
I've already said that.
TJ,
It's not a big take.
TJ knows. All right. So there's a couple of tiers. I put players in tiers, right? We're not good enough for tier 1 players, the Bastonis, the Guardians of the world. Currently, we're struggling with tier 2 players, center backs, right? You got the Tapsobas, you got the Van de Ven, right? Price-wise, right? Price-wise. So
he isn't even tier 2, Mahri.
So apparently, the tier 3s, right? The ones who are hidden gems, right? 15 to 20, either they're for the future or they're hidden gems, right? We're currently about to collapse even a Blackbird player, a young, potentially real good player. So as a Spurs fan, where is the hope in the sense that we can't close in tier 1? We can't close in tier 2. We can't even close on tier 3, but yet we've been sold. And for me, I'm back in Ange. The problem is Levy, but I've been sold that we are going to master one of these tiers, tier 3, but even that, we're bottling that. Where, as a hope, do I have as a Tottenham fan of signing players, especially center backs? If you saw the first game that we just played, preseason game.
You don't have hope.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that you're going to need Postecoglou to work with what you have now, which is dead, unfortunately, and show potential. You're going to have to give players that are worth a damn a reason to believe in Ange Postecoglou and want to come to Spurs. Nobody wants to come to Spurs right now. You guys have no European football and no good prospects at defense. Yeah, you can talk all you want about your midfield, but if Kane leaves, you guys are dead up front too, with the exception of Sonny.
If Kane leaves, I would be very worried.
Yeah. So you guys go ahead.
Saliba. All right, go back.
Big up Connor, by the way. Big up Connor, my media guy.
No, I thought there was one. Oh, who would you take out of? There's a couple. I'll take Saliba. I'll take Saka. But Son, Kane, and Saka.
Martinelli,
you take our entire starting 11 other than
most of the starting 11. I wouldn't take Gabriel. I wouldn't take Holding.
The amount of disrespect
Holding is, if Holding sees the starting 11 this season, I'm going to riot. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. But Saliba.
No, Gabriel, not for me, man. He's over. He's
really, I think with Saliba next to him, he's great. But if you take Saliba away from him, he can be dog shit.
I take Ben White over Gabriel.
You put Rob Holding next to Van Dijk. Van Dijk's gonna look like shit.
I'll take Ben White.
I'll take Ben White over Gabriel.
Not at center back.
Gabriel's better than Ben White. Come on,
no,
guys.
I'll put him out.
I would. I don't like Gabriel. I don't like him as a player.
Okay.
Well, that's fine. I mean, what do you not like about him, Stel?
I just think unless he's got a quality centre back next to him, he's just prone to too many errors. He'll cost you goals. You
put anybody next to Rob Holding, they're going to play. They're going to look like shit.
Yeah, but I said Rob Holding. I wouldn't touch Rob Holding.
But you guys rave about Saliba, and so do we. We love Saliba. We think he's the future, you know. But Saliba made more mistakes last year than Gabriel. And Gabriel
Your season collapsed. Your season collapsed when Saliba got injured, dude. Your season
Yes,
collapsed
because we had Rob Holding.
I agree, Will.
Because we had Rob Holding.
Here's another
And not
point that I
Saliba.
want to make. Zinchenko going inverted into the midfield left our back exposed a lot last season. You can shake your head, Stefan, but when you see Gabriel chasing down balls in the corner where Zinchenko should be, you can't say we were playing 3 at the back when Zinchenko was cheating up and bolstering the midfield by going inverted. You can't tell me no on that one. Sorry.
No, I
see it
agree
with your
with
eyes.
you. Yeah, I agree with you to some degree, but the issue came was that once Saliba got injured, and then Partey his form
he dropped off.
nosedived. And so the two key pieces to our defense and how we manage a game and how we control a game in Saliba and Partey, we didn't have. And then we had to play Jorginho, I love him as a player, but he just doesn't have the legs to cover the ground that
your defense was shit for years until Saliba came in, and Gabriel was there for 2
That's
of them.
not true. Okay.
Right?
Well,
For me,
Gabriel and Ben White did very well.
I've watched Gabriel for enough time to know.
Ben White is definitely a right back.
And unless he's got a sure body next to him, I think Saliba is. If you were to get an injury to any of your centre backs, Saliba's the one you don't want to get injured. Because I think he does better next to other players more than what Gabriel can. Which is why I don't rate Gabriel. If you're talking about winning a Premier League, for me, I wouldn't have him in my squad personally. I think there's better. I think there's better players. I reckon, I think there's better players than Gabriel for a league title challenge.
Okay, maybe, but that's why we have the Polish guy. The Polish guy looks also
no. I don't want Kiwi or anywhere near center back. He can play left back as long as he stays left and doesn't go inverted. That's the big problem. If we are talking about an actual solid defense, we would stop. We have the midfield that can necessitate not needing to bolster with Zinchenko going in there or Kiwi or going in there and then leaving us exposed at the back. I think we are still very vulnerable to the counterattack. I want to see Timber next to Saliba. I want to see a rotation. I want to see multiple things. It's to be determined now, guys. That's the thing.
But I'm just intrigued, TJ. What has Kiwior done for you to doubt him that he can't play center back? He was amazing against Newcastle.
Did you watch that Europa League game?
That was
literally
his first,
ducked out of the way.
That was his first league start.
Don't care. You're playing with the big boys now.
What do you mean?
I will say this: you guys are in the penthouse compared to us in the outhouse. To finish what TJ was saying.
True. Sorry, we keep going back to Arsenal. Sorry.
Because we got Dyer, Sanchez. Did you guys see Sanchez on that third goal?
Guys, honest question. Who is the worst defender? Who is the worst defender out of all those defenders at Spurs? I'm intrigued. Who do you guys think is the worst?
Oh,
defender?
Sanchez for sure.
I disagree.
I'm more mad. I'm more mad. I was about to say that. I'm more mad at Dyer because
he's equally bad. They're both bad in different ways.
At least Sanchez tries to tackle. I've never seen a more passive defender than Eric Dyer.
Yeah, it's true. Eric Dyer doesn't tackle.
He has not made one tackle.
Are we gonna need to get some like antidepressants to get through this season? Like I'm already seeing the despair on your face.
Here's the problem.
My despair comes from fans who think we're gonna cook with this squad. Like,
can you imagine a starting defense?
Our fullbacks can't defend. Our fullbacks can't. Look, Porro was at fault for one of the goals. Reggie was at fault for another. Then it was Sanchez. They can't defend. Only Romero could defend, and he's a lunatic.
No,
and he's fucking nuts.
Here's the two things. He's a good
defender, but he's just.
Here's the two things.
He's just wild.
But take that back. Take that coming back. Here's the two things with this team that is a concern. Offensively, on our good day, we could pump some teams. We could pump
100%.
But the problem is that there are going to be days when we play a good team, we're going to bend over and we're going to get pumped. We're going to bend over. And
it's going to be no.
It's the yin and the yang. It's the yin and the yang. We're going to pump some teams, but we're going to get pumped real good.
No,
And the
it's
thing
gonna
is,
be
because the thing is because the communication, those goals and set pieces, right? You got what's his name?
Romero,
Uh
Tanganga.
Tanganga, right? Where his assignment was he didn't know his assignment because there's no leader within the back line to tell people, hey, you need to go here, you need to go there. It's very concerning that, and this is where for Ange, I back Ange 100%. But the problem is the club has already failed him, not getting not one center back before preseason. Not one before that is atrocious. That is asinine. That's not big club. That is not a big club position.
Levy's gonna Levy.
Yeah, but wait, Mark, have you ever thought that clubs know that you are desperate for center back? So, for example, I mean, the Van de Ven price, I read 40 million euros. I wouldn't even pay half of that for him. I watched him because everybody's going to say it's Arsenal hate and this. Watch him in the Euro under 21s. So, how can I? So, for me, when I see a defender, for me, power and speed in a defender is defined in different ways. Stella, as a coach, would know this. So there's a really good example. I'm going to use American sports. In the NFL, they have a combine where the athletes, whether it's for the different positions, run a 40-yard dash. And the 40-yard dash usually gets hyped up the most. So usually the fastest guy gets hyped up, and he's gonna get drafted first and this and that. However, when you actually watch the tape for a lot of those guys that are super fast, they actually don't move very well. They're just fast. They move in a straight line. If you watch Van de Ven, the way he defends, he's just really fast going straight. In terms of if you start moving side to side with him, he's extremely cumbersome. He's poor. He's extremely poor at that. And the fact that you guys are willing to pay 40 million for this guy,
we're not willing. We're not willing.
Okay, even the fact that you're interested in him, the fact that you're interested in him, for me, just watch the under 21 European Championship where he captained the Holland team that couldn't get out of the group stages. Georgia, in one of the games, this guy
Stefan, to be honest with you, I've said on streams already that I'm not 100% convinced by Van de Ven. I've said it. For me, I think Tapsoba is a proper defender. I want Taps. If we get Tapsoba, I'll be super happy with that. Yeah. I don't. Listen, if we get Van de Ven and it's what Ange really wants, then you kind of got to back it But again, at Spurs, you never know if it's the manager or the football director or Levy. You never know. But I'm not 100% on Van de Ven. I said what we should do is buy Tapsoba, and we need to buy an established centre back. I know we can't get him, but the Laporte level, we need an established centre back. I know we can't get him, Stefan. I know, but someone of that level or that, like Pau Torres. We should have gone in for Pau Torres.
I was shocked.
I would have taken Pau Torres.
He is with us,
and guys, he was very affordable. He was like 38 million euros or something.
So I would have taken Pau Torres and Tapsoba, and I think we can. That's a good start. But
no, but
okay, we're not going to do that though. We're going to get two youngsters, and we're going to put them next to a lunatic, and we're going to pray for the best.
I actually read some. I'm not going to name them. Some like credible Spurs podcasts where they're like, we should make Romero captain. What?
No, he's not a leader. He's not a leader.
He's
not a leader.
He's a 5-year-old child that plays football. I told you, Stel. Remember?
No, Romero's. Listen, I've been to so many Spurs games, and I've seen how it is. Romero is a really, really good defender. The problem we've got is he's a bit like Gabriel in the sense that
he's not.
No, hear me out. No, you haven't heard what I'm going to say though.
Don't compare him to Gabriel.
No. Let me finish what I'm saying because there's no context to what you're doing. If you don't put good players around him, then he can be quite disastrous. Argentina, they put quality around him. The guy helped them lift the World Cup. Romero, I've seen him on his day. On his day, dude, the guy won Serie A Defender of the Year for a reason. He's good.
Playing in a
And you
back
haven't,
three.
but dude, back 3, back 2, I don't care. Defending's defending. Man. If you can't adapt, you shouldn't play football. If you can't adapt, Kane has played in under every system, under 6 different managers. He delivers. If you can't adapt, don't play football. For me, Romero needs those players around him. That's what I think. And we've never done it.
For him,
when you have Otamendi and you have
Levy paid 50 million. Levy.
I will say this. I will say this being a huge Argentine supporter, not missing one game and just knowing about Romero's career. And this year has to be a bounce back. It really needs to be a bounce back career. At his highest level, and I'm not even talking about Atalanta, Serie A, Defender of the Year. I'm not even talking about World Cup. At Copa America, ask anybody who watched Copa America. Argentina does not win Copa America without Romero. Romero was lights out. Great defender. That was his highest. That is his highest.
Good man. He is good. He's
But the problem is that lack the discipline. This lack the discipline and lack the desire. I think his attitude needs some work.
His attitude is awful.
Yeah, and so that's what everybody's seeing. So I get that, but I'm just talking about potential at his highest, at his best. Oh man, he was the it. You know,
Okay, I just want to tell you, Mahri, that tackle
he was even better than the World Cup.
Okay, he had a really good tournament. But that tackle that he did against Milan in the Champions League,
he's a lunatic.
That's not lunatic. That's
Stefan, which part of he's a lunatic do you not listen to?
No.
He's a lunatic.
No, it's not about
when the screw comes out, he takes your whole family down.
Yes, but that's not being a lunatic. That's having a shit attitude. Because when things don't go your way, you just say, screw it. I'm just gonna go get a red card. That just shows me that he has a crap attitude, doesn't care about the club. And let's be honest, every time. No,
Granit Xhaka did it. Granit Xhaka threw his shot on the floor. What a shit attitude. Should we get rid of him?
Granit Xhaka. Yes, we should have gotten rid of him.
Yes, we should have.
I love Granit Xhaka.
He didn't.
I love Granit Xhaka.
He didn't.
We should have gotten rid of him earlier.
But look how well he did for you last season.
Yes, his first. Everybody knows.
Oh, so it's okay for Xhaka to stay with a shit attitude and do well for you, but Romero, let's get rid of him because he's got a shit attitude. How did it work like that? How does that work out?
First of all, Xhaka is a hothead, but Xhaka is the opposite of Romero in terms of a shit attitude. Xhaka is always fit. Romero is always injured for Spurs, but
being fit isn't an attitude. If you get injured, you get injured.
It is. It shows professionalism, Stel. He's
not getting injured?
Well, how about this? Romero is always injured for Spurs.
Explain that to me. Explain that to me. No. Bring that back. Pull it back. Hold on. Pull it back. Okay. This is crazy. How is getting injured a bad attitude? If you pull your hamstring, is that a bad attitude? If I'm running and I pop my hamstring, what?
Stel, if you look at if you look at players that have the most muscular injuries, specifically muscular, I'm not talking about Jesus
that was out for like 4 months injured is because he's got a shit attitude.
No, that was one
of your players. Of course, it was one of your players.
But his suits. First of all, there's a difference between having muscular injuries and pulling your hamstring than getting a knee injury from contact. Still, you can't train for that. However, you can train and prepare to not get a hamstring strain, a groin
every
pull.
Every time Harry Kane's ankle pops in a tackle and he's out for 6 months, it's because he's got a shit attitude.
No, not again. That's bad luck with Harry Kane.
That's bad luck. So when it's your players, it's not. When it's Kane, it's bad luck. But Romero,
what I'm talking about,
he gets injured.
No, okay,
dude, this doesn't make sense.
No,
make sense to me.
I woke up angry today and I accidentally pulled my quad. Still, it's because I have a bad attitude.
On this note, we got.
I get it.
No, if you give me 1 minute, I'll give you one great example of someone who.
Okay, and then we're moving on.
Yeah,
and then I'm
going to shoot myself.
The biggest example, the biggest example of an elite player who had a shit attitude and got injured as a result of it because of his poor professionalism was Arsenal's Jack Wilshere. Incredible player, but smoked, went out and partied all the time, didn't take his career
This is a
seriously.
completely different thing. This
How
is
is it a completely different thing? He even said it. He even said that was
we're talking on the field, Stefan, not
But that's
problems
part
off.
of it. But that's part of it. If you don't sleep,
I like you, Stefan. I really like that we support the same team, but you are not on the same argument plane that Stelios or any of us are. That's the Wilshere versus Ramiro thing. That's completely different.
There is no way anyone can tell me an injured player is because they have a shit attitude. Unless he went and punched someone and broke his wrist punching someone, then I say yeah. But Romero's never done that. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay,
Let's go to an exciting topic because our co-host is only here for 25 more minutes. So I'm gonna let him choose. He's about to look again. I will let him choose the next topic. It's either has Arsenal closed the gap on Man City?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or Kane's leaving?
Please no.
No, I'm not doing that. I want
Arteta on the hot
Kane.
Yeah.
No, I don't want Kane. I don't want Kane.
Or Rice baby, Rice baby kangaroo love.
Oh, good Lord. What is kangaroo? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, did you see the top webpage?
That was
Which
just,
is the koala bears? Which
Oh,
has
God. Are you saying what's more embarrassing?
kangaroo love or rice baby.
Well, I met Cecil over the weekend or a couple days ago.
It was so
He's
crazy.
why does he always
Nice
do this? Yeah, I'm sure
It's AFTV, dude. What do you expect? It's
yeah,
AFTV.
I know.
What
But
do you expect?
it's like what was it on New Year's?
Real quick, because I do only have 20 minutes and I'm really sorry, guys. Really busy week this week. I swear it will not be like this every week. Arsenal closing the gap on Man City. I think that is a really good topic of conversation that we might not be able to get too diluted about. Okay, because there's tangible ingoings and outgoings that you can talk about. The difference this year between Arsenal and Man City is going to be Kane. Yeah, no, I think if I have to go on another Spurs channel and talk about whether Kane is a winner or whether he's leaving, I'm probably going to off myself. No, but here's the thing. The difference between Arsenal winning the title or finishing above Man City, rather, it is going to be down to one thing, and that is Pep Guardiola. Okay? Pep Guardiola has lost a good amount of the depth in his squad. So if he can get in the proper people to fill in those gaps, I think they're still going to have a chance. But if you're comparing transfer windows, Man City are looking a lot weaker than Arsenal are right now. So I think
is that including
we should.
Rafinha?
That's not even over the line yet. Those are just rumors.
Rafinha has stated numerous times he's going nowhere. He loves Barcelona. I'll be very surprised if they manage to sign him.
Yeah.
But
if you're looking at current squads, and I might get roasted for this, but if you're looking at current squads heading into the season, Arsenal looks stronger.
Yeah, I agree.
Arsenal looks stronger. But that's why I'm saying it comes down, has Mikel Arteta learned his lesson? That is a huge question on my mind right now, and I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it, because if you look at it right now, honestly, the depth in the midfield, Arsenal have it. Attacking, Arsenal don't have it. Defending, Arsenal, they're on an even plane. Go ahead.
Dude,
I think we even have a better defense.
I think Arsenal are favourites to win the league for one reason only. I think you're favourites to win the league because if you look at the history of football, a team that wins a double or a treble, which is rare, the following season, it's very, very, very difficult to reach those heights back to back. You can win back-to-back titles, you can win back-to-back FA Cups, but back-to-back doubles, I don't think it's been done. Back-to-back trebles, never been done. I think Arsenal have got the bit between their teeth, and you are going to be more hungry. I don't think anyone should underestimate Man City because they're a weapon. Man City, when the Sharks come swimming, right, like last season. So I don't think you can write them off. I do think you've got to factor in that you've now got Champions League. You had no Europe last season, so that's going to really test you and injuries. But I think psychologically, at Man City, it's a honeymoon. Whereas you're ready to go out and party. You're ready to go out and take the town and run the show. So I think, how do you motivate your players to go and win everything again? I think that's so difficult. It's like you've reached the peak, man.
Or
So I think you're the favourites next season. If I'm being really honest about it,
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I agree with you, but I disagree with you in the sense that I agree they closed the gap. I think this Guardiola signing is going to go through. Last time I checked, it's just a little here. Man City will get done. It's not Spurs where it's just it's going to collapse. They get Guardiola in. That's
I'm sure Man City will get it.
The best defense in my opinion, all of Europe. And I just think with them, and you're right that hunger, but it's just Pep. I think the difference is Pep and Arteta. I know I put the question, is Arteta in the hot seat?
Mahri.
It's just that Pep is just so determined. I actually kind of agree with TJ that Pep is just so determined. The guy is insane. He's he's like, guys, get up. Like he's arguing with De Bruyne and stuff like that. And like most teams are like, oh, that's trouble. But it's like a luck thing because it's just Pep knows how to get those guys going.
But Mahri, isn't it?
I actually think the worst thing is now people are saying, you know what, Arsenal are the favorites. Now you're giving them bulletin board like Pep is going to like, Arsenal's the favorite, right? They're better than us. That's what they're saying. If I was Arsenal, I would like to sneak up and say, and then the last thing I must say, this Premier League is brutal. Liverpool, Chelsea will be back. People sleep on Chelsea.
Chelsea have got no Europe. Chelsea have got no Europe.
Guys, stop
European football.
Chelsea will be back. I'm telling you.
I agree.
I think it's gonna take a little bit longer for Chelsea to get to where they were before. I think they make Europe, but I don't think they're gonna go Champions League.
Poch inherited a much worse team and he did it quickly.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Sal, on that?
Villa is going to be strong. Brighton is going to be strong. I think it's going to be a war, so it's going to take a lot of mental discipline, and that's why I give the edge still to City because it's going to be the Premier League is going to be rough.
I think they need to replace Gundogan, Mahri. He was a big player for them.
They
need to replace Gundogan.
That's all you said. Gundogan, that's probably they're not losing Silva.
I just want to add two more points from. I agree with everything you guys said, but I just think from a more Arsenal perspective, focusing on Arsenal, we're gonna be better. All of our squad are like our best players. Saka's 22. They're all gonna improve. They're all gonna learn from that experience from before. Odegaard should be better. Every single one of these players should be better. So I think Arsenal will go up another level, especially with the players that we have now. Declan Rice is going to be super motivated also. Jurriën Timber, we have much more depth. So I think from an Arsenal perspective, we have the extra motivation, but not only that, the accumulated experience that we had from the league previously should motivate us even more and make us better because we played under pressure. So now we can handle that pressure, hopefully, in the latter stages of the season in a more clinical way, the way Man City do. The second point for me, which I think TJ is completely right on, is you cannot replace experience. So even though Guardiola might be the most talented defender in the world, Laporte is still better than him because he's played 3 or 4 years in the Prem. Laporte is going to leave. So technically, Guardiola is going to need a few months. The same way John Stones needed a year and a half to get used to it. The same way Nathan Ake. Usually players that come into Pep Guardiola's system that haven't played or have played in a different league in a different system, which is RB Leipzig, completely different system, counterattacking, need a lot of time. Nathan Ake, he was rubbish in the first year he came. Now he's hailed as the best defender on the Man City team along with John Stones. The same with John Stones. Everybody remembers Grealish. So this churning of these players, especially what Stel said of Gundogan, who was their X factor in the last 2-3 months, and in my opinion, their best player. It wasn't De Bruyne. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I would just like to add, their best players are aging. De Bruyne is 32, 33. He had another serious injury after the final. He's going to be out for at least 3 to 4 months or more. Kyle Walker, I totally forgot about him. He's going to Bayern. Another leader, another defender that is going to be difficult to replace. I'm reading they're going to try and sign Benjamin Pavard from Bayern Munich. Well, newsflash, I think Kyle Walker is much better than him. So he's not, they're not going to be able to replace
But you gotta understand, they barely used them. They only used them against Real Madrid, and certain because I know people are gonna bring that point. Kyle Walker wasn't used all the time. He was only used to I guess Real Madrid because of the blazing speed of.
He was on the bench in the final.
Yeah, he was on.
Okay, but who? Okay,
the Walker loss is as big.
But Mahri,
what's his name back there?
But Mahri, which defensive roster is better, with Laporte and Walker, or with Guardiola and Pavard?
I'm gonna go Guardiola and Pavard.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
How?
Guardiola, yes.
Guardiola.
Guys.
I mean, I know Messi emasculated him, and Messi does that to everybody, of course. But Guardiola, that's a upgrade on Laporte. I get what you're saying in the chemistry, but overall, by mid-season, Guardiola is a world-class professional. Your hand fits in like a glove. Right? It doesn't. It can take you a couple months. It doesn't take you a whole season to find it.
Mahri, with Guardiola, it never works like this. Sergio Aguero, who's one of the greatest strikers of all time, he was going to leave Man City because the first season he really struggled. It never works like this with Pep Guardiola. Every single new player, especially that comes from a different system and especially a different league, takes at least 6 months. Laporte, the disrespect you guys are giving Laporte, I'm shocked. Laporte was actually one of the few players that slotted into the Man City team almost immediately when he got bought. He was one of the few Guardiola signings that immediately played. Nathan Ake didn't start. Grealish didn't start. Like even Sterling was signed before. Like a number of players, when he signs them, he keeps them on the bench for a period of time for them to get used to. And for you to say that Guardiola is an upgrade on Laporte, do you guys not remember how good Laporte was a year and a half ago? Like, just because he didn't play this much this year, because Nathan Ake was having his best season, now Guardiola is better than Laporte. This is what I mean by this. Like,
It remains to be seen.
And let's be
played
honest,
a minute in the Premier League.
The Bundesliga, nobody can defend there. Nobody defends in the Bundesliga. Timo Werner was top goal scorer in the Bundesliga. Comes to the Premier League, can't score for shit.
Also played in the
because he went to Chelsea. I'm using your argument because he went to Chelsea. So I'm using your argument.
Maybe.
Do you think Timo Werner does any better under?
Okay.
You forget.
TJ, I've got more examples. Leon Bailey
I don't have time
had
for every
15, 20 goals and assists at Bayer Leverkusen. Went to Villa. He's been a complete flop.
No, Leon Bailey is actually going to come good. Big up to my Jamaicans.
It's been 2 years now.
No, he's now with Mr. Good evening, Mr. Emery's going to do a good job with Bailey.
He doesn't even play for him. He's on the bench mostly for Emery. Last year he was mostly on the bench. So okay, maybe I don't know, but the Bundesliga is not the best league to kind of transition to the Premier League. It's not. Even I could argue Konate has been very hit and miss too. He's either really, really good or he's hopeless.
Konate's a
I like him too. I think he's got potential. But,
so good, so physical. He's so good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But he's physical, TJ. But he's because of that athleticism. His positioning
the two most physical, solid, no nonsense, old fashioned, but can do it in the modern game defenders I've seen in recent times is Guardiola and Bremer. Them two are just insanely animalistic, man. You know,
Bremer, yes, but Guardiola's a finesse defender still.
Dude,
He's more of a finesse.
Guardiola's a. When did Man City ever go in for a shit player?
I'm not saying that he's shit. I'm saying he's not this like physical monster that you're
When
defining.
does,
He's more
when does Pep ever go in for a defender that isn't a player that isn't levels? It's just we can't see it. Pep sees it. He's got his track record of doing it, man.
I'm not denying that, but like I'm just saying that the Guardiola, like for me, Guardiola is much more of a finesse player that passes and progresses the ball amazingly rather than he's an all-out defender, an old school defender like Bremer. I completely agree with you about Bremer, but Guardiola is like he's a huge talent, but to say that he's gonna come in and upgrade on Laporte for me is just it's blasphemy, guys. That's
I don't know if he's an upgrade. I think he's a very good replacement.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the thing. Like Laporte, I don't know what happened. From what I read in the reports, Guardiola wasn't really happy with him since last summer because he demanded to go to Barcelona, and one of the athletics guys from Man City said that he didn't act in the best possible way after his move. I mean, Barca couldn't afford him, and so that was one of the main reasons. People are also forgetting that Bernardo Silva supposedly is linked almost every week. Everybody is saying that everybody has been saying that he wants to leave Man City now for over a year. If he leaves Man City, who's going to replace him? Because he for me is one of the most.
Do you know what, Stefan? Can I say something to you guys as well? And I think we've all just kind of got so consumed by last season that we're not thinking, hold on, there was a few teams last season where there was a blip. There's going to be a third team that knocks on the door. There's going to be that team where you think, whoa, they've got off to a really good There's going to be another one, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Poch's Chelsea, whether it's Man United, if they're going to buy a couple more players. There's going to be another team that is going to chase you two guys down. Because at one stage, Newcastle got close, but then they kind of filtered off.
Is it going to be Newcastle or Liverpool?
Notice I didn't mention Newcastle.
Yeah. We got Liverpool is a team.
No, Liverpool.
Michael mentioned it in the comments. They're a team. People, dude, Klopp is Klopp. Klopp is Klopp.
But Klopp, the more look, I've talked to you a lot about this that we've argued. The more I see what's going on with Liverpool, it's completely deja vu what happened with Arsenal with Wenger at the latter years, which was Wenger had David Dean, Wenger had Steve Rowley, where everything was delegated based on the scouting, the signings of the players. As Steve Rowley and David Dean left, Wenger got more and more power. The same thing is happening with Jurgen Klopp. Same thing. He's gotten complete power over transfers. And then what did Wenger do? Instead of signing a defensive midfielder for the 10th season in a row when people were expecting him, he signed a 7th attacking player for 40 million or something like that, which Wenger always did. The same thing which Klopp is doing. He's selling Henderson and Fabinho, two defensively kind of box-to-box midfielders, and he's signing attack-minded players like McAllister and Szoboszlai. In a defense last season, that was horrific. Who's going to cover Trent still now? Because Fabinho, who had a poor season,
I think Trent got his act together towards the end of the season. I think he got his act together.
Okay.
I mean, with all due respect, Trent ripped you a new asshole when you lot went to Anfield, dude.
He had one good half, man. One good half.
That's all it took. That's all it took. That's all
We
it
gave
took.
that game. We gave that game. We gave that game away. We gave that game away.
It finished
Trent,
2-2 still. He ripped
Trent will be. I think Trent will be back this season, man. I think
back getting
the whole Liverpool team had a dip last season. They'll bounce back. I think Liverpool.
How are they going to bounce back when they're losing a huge amount of experience and leadership? Henderson, Fabinho, Milner, these are huge leaders. This is a huge.
Yeah, but they were also affecting the team in terms of energy and pace because they were getting old. They need young, new, vibrant players, which is what they're going to do.
You still got Van Dijk. I mean,
Van Dijk
still there as a leader. He's still.
But for me, the problem is that although they're focused on Liverpool and their midfield, that's true. Their midfield was old. They didn't have the legs. Nobody's talking about their defense. Joe Gomez is a League One defender. He is rubbish. Matip has fallen. Matip has fallen off a cliff. He needs to leave too. They have
And
no
imagine,
defender.
and they finished 5th. So if they do go and get those players sorted,
The only reason they finished 5th, Stel, was because the other teams like Chelsea, like you, were crap. I honestly think because at the start of the season,
or they were better than
just
us.
as bad as
Or they were
any.
just better
They
than
were.
us.
I mean,
Or they're better than us.
I just think both of you weren't very good.
Wasn't it 7-0? 7-0 against Man United at Anfield? They tore Man United to shreds.
Yeah, okay, that's true, but still, every team has like a one. Like when you guys were good under Poch, when you would come to the Emirates, we would destroy you every time, even when you were in your golden
No, you didn't.
generation.
No, you didn't. Poch
We
used to
beat
draw
you
against
2-0
you.
and 4-2. We destroyed you 2-0 with Sanchez.
And we got 2 draws, and we beat you 2-0 in the Carabao Cup at the Emirates. We were okay at the Emirates against you lot. We were okay.
Beat us 2-0
It's the only time we've been okay.
Are you seriously using the Carabao Cup where Granit Xhaka played center back? Are you serious?
No, I'm using your argument of when we came to the Emirates.
Yes,
your
when
argument,
you came to the Emirates in 2017 and 2018, when you were this big team supposedly, you got destroyed.
Yeah.
We were in the dumps. We destroyed you 2-0. And then the next season with Emery, you were 2-1 up and we beat you 4-2.
Yeah, and then you came to White Hart Lane. You lost every single season under Poch.
Under Poch?
Yeah, Poch.
No, we drew. We drew in 2016.
You drew maybe once or twice. Okay, and we beat you all the other times. And we went to Wembley. We beat you there as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we're talking about Poch v Arsenal.
I don't know how that happened. Oh, I did have a question. I did have a question, and then I got to go, and it's for Stel. Okay, so you guys wax lyrical about how great Poch is. Okay, but when he came into Spurs, he didn't have the level of player and the ego that he's walking into at Chelsea.
True.
And,
Do you think
and
how
the expectations and the expectations?
Yeah. Okay, so and this is gonna be my last question, and then I'm gonna have to listen offline. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mahri, for putting this together. I'm looking forward to doing this with you guys. But I want to hear from Sel, I want to hear from Stefan, I want to hear from Mahri. Can Poch control the perceived egos at Chelsea and be able to succeed like he did at Spurs? Can he do that again? Again, thank you again, Mahri. Follow me at TJ Warren TV. I gotta go. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Big up, Warren. To answer what Warren's big up, Warren. Big up. To answer Warren's question, I don't think there's big egos at Chelsea. There's no Messi, Ronaldo. There's no what's his name? The guy Neymar. There's none of that. I think at Chelsea, what they've got is a lot of young players, and they've got rid of quite a few older players recently, and a couple of kind of mid-age players. I think what Poch is walking into is a very young project. That is exactly the Poch remit. I think he's gone to the right setup, and he's going to have a chairman.
And the talent that they have on that team.
It's not very good. It's not very good, Mahri.
I think all they're lacking, all Chelsea are lacking.
I'm not talking about
one minute. All they're lacking, in my opinion, is a proper holding mid, defensive. So if they get Casado, that's one, and they need a striker. They badly need a striker. They badly need a striker. They need to get a striker. Other than that, they've got the squad, and I think Poch, and I've said it time and time again, Poch is going to surprise everyone. He's a proper manager.
No, he's not.
And Cuckoo scored yesterday.
Okay.
They have lined up what they have lined
They need
up.
a striker, They need number 9.
They need a goalkeeper, guys. They need a center back now because Wesley Fofana's out for 7 months. They're going to be reliant on a 38-year-old to play every single game, and an injury-prone one at that, which is Thiago Silva, who's their best player is a 38-year-old, guys. After spending 600 million.
Okay, they're not going to win the league, Stefan. They're not going to win the league. But
they're going to finish next season out of the top 10 still. Book it again. They're going to be awful.
Stefan, I bet you now Chelsea finish in the top 6 next season. I bet you.
No chance. Villa are better. Liverpool are better. Do
you know what it is?
There's no way they finish.
You've never experienced Poch as your manager, right? What I saw this guy do was take a team. What do you mean? Here we go again. It's a fact. You haven't experienced.
Because you got to get over Poch. He won nothing, Phil. He won nothing.
Dude, you're not listening. Don't interrupt me. Listen to what I'm saying, and then jump in with that, right? That's cool. That's cool. right? But the point I'm making is you've not experienced it. We went through it. And what I saw Poch do was have the 6th highest transfer budget, the 6th highest wage bill, and he consistently kept us in the top 3, sometimes 4th, always above you and always in that top 4. Is that a trophy? No. Is that success? No. But he took us to a place we thought we would never be, which is to challenge for a league title, which we didn't win, and to get to a Champions League final. Dude, no one at Spurs has come close to that. Nobody in maybe since 85, which is what, 85, 95, 2000. In over 35 years, no one's come close to that. And he did it on the 6th highest budget. So when you say to me, he's going to go to a Chelsea team with young players and actually have a proper budget, he's going to cook. And when he does, I'm going to cook you, Stefan. And I'm going to remind you of this conversation.
Let's see. We've had 2 main arguments. I was right about Romero. You were saying that he's a really good defender. He's going to prove me wrong. 6 months later now, this is his big season. If he doesn't prove it, then we have to sell him. And then, okay, now
I never said that.
You said Romero's a really good defender 6 months ago,
Yeah.
or what was it? And that he's gonna prove me wrong.
He's a good defender.
How has he shown that style? Was he a good defender?
Tottenham as a club haven't shown what it's a team game. Romero, every player at Spurs in the last 3 years has had 4 different managers, 4 different systems. I've said to every Spurs fan, in my view, until we get a manager for 3 years and a team that plays under one manager, I don't care what the style is, one manager, then we should really judge everyone. Not the ones that have been here for 10 years, like Dyer and Davies. No, I'm talking about players that have been here 3. I'll put Chicken Royale in that. I'll put Chicken Royale in that group as well. We should judge everyone because the thing with Arsenal is you've had one manager for 3-4 years. So now's a good time to really judge your players. And it's the same with Klopp. He got 5 years. Ferguson got God knows how long. At Spurs, other than Poch, every manager gets like 18 months, Stefan. I want to see a manager give him 3 years and then judge the players. That's why I think Romero is a good player. But I just want to see every Spurs with one manager for 3 years.
I talked about this. They signed Jackson from Villarreal.
They signed players based on hype. Jackson had scored 8 goals in his final 10 games in La Liga.
Who signed who? Who signed him?
Chelsea. They signed Jackson.
I know nothing about him.
No. There's no coherent. The reason why I think it's going to be an absolute disaster is because they have no coherent plan, and they remind me. Mahri will definitely know this example of the Dallas Cowboys, in which the owner continuously interferes, just like Levy with you guys, continuously interferes, but in a different way than Levy. The owner of Chelsea loves to be in the spotlight, loves to show that he's negotiating for transfers, loves to beat.
But don't
Arsenal.
you think he's backed off? Don't you think now he's learned? He's backed off.
No, he hasn't backed off.
You know what?
He hasn't backed off because he got. I think he got caught again. I forgot for which transfer that they were doing. He purposely got snapped in, to be shown that they were negotiating. He loves the fame and he loves interfering. The other reason why I don't think it's going to work is because it reminds me a little bit of when Arsenal were in chaos. They have 3 sporting directors, Stel. 3. They signed 3 guys to do one job. It's a complete. He thinks this is the American baseball market where you basically the team with the biggest budget comprises all the actual. It takes all the players into a big talent pool and puts them in the second and third division baseball.
Poch knows what he's walking into, right? Poch knows what he's walking into. He would have known all of that, right? There's no way Poch would have taken the job unless he thought I can do what I need to do, because Pochettino knows this is a big moment for him in Premier League football, because when he was in the Premier League, he built a good reputation for himself, both at Southampton and at Spurs. His reputation got a little bit tarnished at PSG, but that's a shit show of a club anyway. Now he's back here. He has to make a statement. Otherwise, he's gonna become like Graham Potter. Who's gonna touch him? It's gonna be difficult.
It's the perfect opportunity for him, still, because they finished 12th last year. He can't do any worse with these players than 12.
But you just said they're going to finish. You just said they're going to finish in the bottom 10.
That's my honest prediction. What I'm saying is that Poch
You've just contradicted yourself.
I'm not contradicting. I'm saying they're gonna. My prediction is they're gonna finish outside. They're gonna finish 10th or outside of the top 10. But I'm saying that Poch took this job.
That's not better.
With Poch,
dude.
With you,
dude, no way, man. No way.
Yes, because I can name you 10 teams that are better than Chelsea in terms of a team.
Do you know what Poch is good at? Dude,
Arsenal, okay. Let me name you them. Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Brighton are better. Aston Villa are better. Brentford are a better team.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Man United.
No.
Let's see this talent pool.
Stefan, Chelsea are going to get in that top 6 this season.
No,
I'm telling you, they're going to do it. They've got no European football. They've got no European football. They're just going to get their act together in the league.
There's no European football. That was Chelsea under. This is a different.
They don't have European football, dude. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
The back line is better than
every week.
Mahri.
Every week when we do this show, we'll keep an eye on Chelsea as well.
Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on
watch
Chelsea.
it, book it. I really hope Sky have like a betting option where you can bet for Chelsea finishing outside of the actual top 10, because I can really see it. And Mahri's shocked about Brentford. Mahri, they finished 3 places below Brentford.
And
Chelsea were disgraced last season.
And how are they going to be?
I mean, Brentford, I'm trying to remember who they signed during the transfer window. I still think Brentford's going to do good, but I think they may fall back a little because Chelsea's going to pass.
Okay.
Now, if you told me Villa
without Ivan Toney, Mahri, I think they're going to struggle, man.
Yeah, they're going to struggle.
Mbeumo's a good player, but Ivan Toney is
Villa at Chelsea, I was say, okay. But even then, I'm like, Chelsea's going to come back really hard. But Brentford, no.
Okay.
Brighton might fall
down. Simple question.
Brighton have lost good players.
Right? Chelsea have churned up a number of players. Is Jackson better than Kai Havertz? No, he's not.
As a number 9, Kai Havertz is shit.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Kai Havertz as a number 9 is shit.
Okay, yeah, of course, yes.
As a number 9.
Yeah, as a number 9, Kai Havertz is crap as a number 9. But this Jackson guy is unproven. Okay,
he's a striker. But he's playing in his position.
Okay, good. Is Conor Gallagher better than Mason Mount?
What's that got to do with it?
Because currently the actual player that's going to start instead of Mason Mount is going to be Conor Gallagher, because that's the midfield.
What about Enzo? What about Enzo and Mudryk?
Mudryk, we'll see if he even plays, because Mudryk plays on the same side as Sterling. Sterling for me is better than Mudryk currently.
What about Enzo? What about Enzo Fernandez?
Okay. But who's better, Kovacic or Enzo Fernandez?
Oh, Fernandez.
Where's Kovacic?
Why is Fernandez better?
Where's Kovacic?
Their best player, if the player of the year for Chelsea last year was Enzo, and even SofaScore can back it up. He has been solid. He will give you a solid 8 with that bad 7.
So one bad year of Kovacic and 1 good year of Enzo Fernandez compared to 6 or 7 good years of Kovacic means that Enzo Fernandez is a better player. Okay, Kante. I forgot about one of their best players. Kante is gone. Who's going to replace Kante?
They've signed some. Actually, I got to pull up their sign.
Who's going to replace? Guys, they're churning players and they're losing quality players too.
Oh, they're gaining some quality players. They've signed a couple of kids from South America. I'm about to do a show on them. Well, see, people, I'm telling you now, it's an illusion what people are saying about Chelsea. Chelsea's actually doing the smart thing. The people that they're signing. I'm telling you now.
I've noticed this about the Spurs fan base. You have this like insecurity complex with Chelsea. Like you always think they're gonna have one over everybody.
I hate Chelsea. Trust me. I hate them with a
Dude,
passion.
we hate Chelsea. I hate
I
Chelsea.
know, but you have this insecurity complex where you always think Chelsea are always gonna figure it out and they're always gonna magically, they'll finish 12th or they'll win.
No, 1 minute. Stefan. No. Hold on. Rein it in. Forget Spurs fans, because I think most Spurs fans they don't want me to have a voice, because I will say exactly as I see it. All I'm saying is this. That's all I'm saying. Pochettino, with some young players that have got potential and talent, is a dangerous manager. That's what I'm saying, because I saw him do it at Spurs. Now, at Spurs, he got rid of a lot of players as well. I think Chelsea got rid of 4 or 5 players so far this window. If they keep doing that and they bring in the position right, well, there you go. This is exactly what he did at Spurs, Stefan. He did the exact same thing. If he keeps doing that and he brings in the players he needs for the positions for his system, I'm telling you, he's going to be dangerous. I don't know if he'll win a league. I don't know if he'll win trophies. I don't know. But as a club that everyone's going to take seriously again, he will do it. And that's my point. And I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it. That's why I'm saying it.
But still, the players that have left Chelsea are not some like fringe players. Kovacic, Kante, Mason Mount, even Havertz.
Kante's getting old, man. Havertz.
Yeah, but he was still. Yeah, but even if he's getting old, he was still their best midfielder every time he played. It wasn't Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, but Poch is there to build to take them forward, right? If
with
he's not
who?
part of the
With
long-term
Conor,
plans,
with Conor Gallagher still? He's rubbish.
The window hasn't shut yet. We don't know. The window hasn't shut. Same with Tottenham.
Okay.
We know. I'm waiting for centre backs. The window hasn't shut.
That's
If we get centre backs, if we get centre backs, if Spurs get centre backs, based on what I saw the other night, if we get some proper centre backs,
you're going to win the league.
Spurs. No, of course we're not going to win the league, but Spurs are going to surprise a lot of people. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I do.
Yeah, Chelsea are buying for the future. They got this kid named Paez, Ecuadorian phenom, and he's going to Poch. I'm telling you now, Poch is going to get those kids. They're going to be pesky kids. I'm telling you now. Chelsea, and I don't like Chelsea, but they are very smart in who they sign. They have a plan. Unlike Spurs, they have a plan. They know what they want to do. They have a plan.
They have the American baseball style plan, which is they think by accumulating as much talent as possible in one pool and sending them out like in the States to Division 2, Division 3, and slowly.
Who has a better academy, Chelsea or Arsenal? Who has a better academy?
Right now, I think the actual edge is going slowly towards Arsenal, because Arsenal currently have the 2 most talented youngsters in their age groups, which is Ethan and Winner. There is no bigger talent in youth football than this guy. Everybody.
Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
No,
absolute
sorry.
Rubbish.
Who is?
I work in youth football. And I get to go to these academies. I'll tell you right now, the best academy in the country right now, hands down, is Man City. Out of this world, and the talent that's going to come through there, is going to smash everyone. The next best academy in this country is Chelsea. Cobham is elite. No, it still is. No, it still is, and I'll tell you why. Because the way they run their scouting to bring players in isn't straight. They do things that a lot of clubs won't do, and rightly so. And that's why they got that 1-year ban a couple of years ago under Lampard, because they don't play with the straight bat. The talent in that Cobham Academy is freaking banging. Then you're looking at probably it's a tie. I would say it's a tie between
Arsenal and Man United.
Arsenal and Leicester. It's a tie between you three. Leicester have got they've got a really good academy.
They came to Leicester.
Leicester have got a quality. Listen, I'm telling you, they've got a quality academy, but it's probably between Arsenal and Man United.
Okay, I just want to say this. The most amount of players that have trained in an academy and have minutes in the top 5 leagues in the world, the number 1 academy, if we look at that in terms of players making it to the next level and playing in the top 5 leagues, the number 1 is Ajax, number 2 is Arsenal, number 3 is Chelsea. Man City is not in this. So for me, that is an important step.
How are you judging an academy? How are you judging it then?
For me, there are three main factors in terms of judging an academy. The first one is how many.
Sorry, Stefan. Neutral fan. I'm sorry, you don't know what you're talking about. You're saying that Man United Academy is one of the worst. Absolute rubbish.
It's not.
Absolute rubbish. Man United's
that.
Academy is very, very, very good. You have no idea what you're talking about. You've never been there. I know you don't know anything about academy football then.
No, for
They've
me,
got a brilliant academy.
For me, it's actually
They've always had a good academy.
The first one is how many academy players reach the first team and make a contribution. If you look at Arsenal, we're excellent in that. We have Nelson and Nketiah, Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe. Who else do we have? I'm probably forgetting.
That's not how good. That's not how.
Okay,
yeah, but that's not how good your. That's
okay.
But that's Stefan. That's not. But Stefan, that's not how good your academy is.
Let me finish.
Yeah, but that's not how good. Okay, go on.
The second factor is how we sell. This is where Chelsea are much better than us. We don't sell our academy players. We have done quite well. The last few years, we sold Iwobi for 40 million. We sold Willock for 25 to 30. So we are getting better. And now, supposedly, we're probably going to sell Balogun for 40, 50, hopefully, or if somebody offers that money. So and Smith Rowe might, in my opinion, sadly, I love him, but I think he's going to be sold next year. So he's probably going to go for a good chunk of money. So we're getting better at that. Chelsea are kings of that. Nobody sells their own academy players better than Chelsea. I'll agree on this. But for me, those are the two key factors in how. And then the third one is how do they actually play in the academy? Is the academy a copycat of the way the first team plays? Are those youngsters when they come into the first team? Are they ready tactically? Are they ready even physically to actually play and contribute in that team?
Right.
So for me,
Stefan, you can never judge an academy on how many players come into the first team. Never. And I'll tell you why. Because the decision for an academy player to go into the first team is down to the first team manager. And if the first team manager doesn't fit the ethos of the academy, or he's not prepared to take the risk, he's not going to do it. Conte, Mourinho, perfect examples. So you can't judge it like that. So only now you've got Arteta, who's going to be there long term, that you've done it. So with young players, Chelsea have the best players coming through every single year. None of them got into the first team. None of them got into the first team.
That's true.
The only reason Chelsea's academy players broke into the first team is because they got a 1-year ban. They couldn't buy players, so they forced them through. Otherwise, Reece James wouldn't be playing. This is what they did. So
I agree.
You can never judge academies on what players come through. The way you judge an academy is by the remit the club gives it. That's the only way. And no one here knows the remits. I know a few, but I don't know all of them. For example, Tottenham Hotspur. I'll talk about my club because I know it well. The stadium we built, we had to put down something like £200-300 million deposit. Then we borrowed the money and we built it. 25% of the stadium build, the deposit was funded by the academy. So Daniel Levy's directly told the academy, develop players and sell so we can fund the stadium build. That's why you didn't see players coming through, because the remit was develop to sell. And they did it. So it depends what the remit of the club is. Now, maybe with Postecoglou, the remit's going to be, we got to get players into that first team. I don't know, but it all comes down to the remit. Chelsea under Abramovich, do you know what the remit was at Chelsea? Bring in the best talent so that the other clubs can't get it. It wasn't about bringing them through. It was let's put everyone in our academy so none of our rivals can get it. And that's exactly what they did. And they loaned them to Europe. And you had all these amazing Chelsea players all over Europe on loan. But that was the remit of the academy. The only clubs that truly develop players every single year for the first team are clubs like Ajax, clubs like Borussia Dortmund. There's others, but they are solely about
Borussia. Not so much there, but
maybe not so much now, but they are historically renowned.
Barca.
The academy is for the first team. Tottenham Hotspur Academy is not for the first team, man. And that's the job that they.
Yeah,
that's how it works. That's how.
We got 18 more minutes, and the big news is Harry Kane news coming out. And I know it's become boring, but it's was real telling news today.
I'm
Because
fed up.
apparently
I'm fed up.
something that I've known, and Stone could back me up. I said this since February, before Conte got fired. From my inside sources, from my mates, from Manchester United, they said that Harry Kane, it would take a miracle for him to resign that contract. And when I meant miracle, that means signing Guardiola, Pastoni, Mbappe. Not going to happen. Or if Tottenham won the Premier League, it was love the club, that ain't happening. It will take a miracle. And that means not only sign James Maddison. So I'm not shocked today that it says he is not signing a contract. Now, Ali Gold, Ornstein is yours, says, yeah, he's not signing a contract this summer, but leaves an open room. But from my sources, what my sources says, we're going to have to come to grips. Harry Kane is going to leave this club, barring a miracle. I said this in February because we all know the reason why, right? He probably doesn't have a problem. He doesn't have a problem with Ange, but it's the problem is with Levy, and he has figured it out. That's my opinion about it. We'll start with Stefan on Harry Kane, and then we'll go to we want to hear Gunas.
Wait, Mahri. Toxic headshot. No academy talents for Arsenal apart from Saka. Really? Smith Rowe, Gnabry.
Smith Rowe's good.
Smith Rowe was. There was a time where people thought Smith Rowe was better than Saka a couple of years ago. So yeah, he's fallen down now. But
I can't believe you don't play Smith Rowe, man. I'd have.
I love himself. I love himself. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So let's go to Kane. So if you want an Arsenal fan's perspective on Kane, I've told this to Stel. I've told this to you, Mahri. It's time to accept the fact that Kane is going to leave Spurs. For me, it's financial suicide. It's obvious that Kane, first of all, I think Kane is actually quite disrespectful to Spurs by not saying anything, by staying silent, by allowing for speculation to continuously. For Ange, every single press conference is dominated by Kane, asking him whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to cope. The club is bigger than any player. And if Spurs are a big club, they're going to say, we're not going to let you leave on a free. You're going to leave this summer, but we want 80 to 90 million. The club has to make a decision. There is no club bigger. It reminds me a little bit the same kind of anxiety from fans because, he's probably your best ever player, was the same when Henry left Arsenal. It was such a shock to Arsenal fans. Like, you couldn't picture Henry not being at Arsenal. Like, what's going to happen? We have Adebayor. But in a way, Henry leaving Arsenal actually made us a better team because that season we should have won the league. The first season Henry left. So for me, I just think there is no other way. And even from another perspective, from a PR perspective, if Levy says, screw it, I'm going to risk it, I think Ange is going to cause a big change and Kane might like it and he might sign a new deal at the end of the season. What would be the PR disaster if Kane actually leaves for free and goes to Chelsea? Or even worse, what if Arsenal explode next year, go up another level, win the league, and then try and sign Kane next summer?
You're not going to get Kane, bro.
I know to many Spurs fans that's impossible. He's a good guy. He's this.
There's no way Kane will go to Arsenal. No
chance. Let's see. I'm just saying because
dude,
the whole Spurs fans
you're trolling now. Now you're trolling. You're just trolling.
Why am I trolling? Why am I trolling? He wants to stay in London, right?
There's no.
He wants to stay in London, Chelsea. Right?
Dude, no, he doesn't want to stay in London. He's happy to go Bayern. He was happy to go to Man City. Don't read that. He'll go wherever he wants.
He's happy to go to Bayern now still because Bayern are willing to put up cash, whilst no other.
That's not London, is it? and that's not London, like you said.
I'm saying it's not London, but if his contract runs out and you have London teams offering him big money, Man United offering him big money, do you really think he's going to go to Bayern Munich? I don't think so.
Kane is very big on.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you, but that's got nothing to do with him wanting to stay in London.
More than Sol Campbell, I think Kane is more image. I mean, like anything can happen, and you're right, anything can happen. But
Kane doesn't want a bad relationship with Spurs fans.
Yeah,
he doesn't want a bad relationship.
Yeah, he just doesn't.
Are you guys sure about this? Because I think I remember years ago he went on strike, right?
No, he never.
For City, and I know that upset some fans.
Yeah,
but even then, it's City, it's United, it's Liverpool, but he knows he should know. Arsenal, for me, Chelsea, it would get me mad.
If I was Levy, I would be shit scared the next year if he runs his contract down. Everything is perfectly suited for him to go to Chelsea. He's got his coach there.
Look, Stefan,
it's perfectly suited.
Mahri,
They have no legitimate number 9, and it's Chelsea. They win trophies, something that he's never done.
But so Poch is good then.
No, but in terms of it's in London, he will stay in London.
Listen.
And Chelsea have a much higher chance of winning a trophy than Spurs in a way. I don't think right now, but in terms of Chelsea have that culture. They have it.
I have said it 100 times, and I stick by what I say. There is no way Daniel Levy is going to let £100 million walk out the front door, and he's not going to get £100 million because no club's going to pay that, knowing that his contract ends in a year's time, and they can sign him on a pre-agreement in January. So Levy's in a corner. He wants 100 million. He's not going to get that because he's left it too late. He should have done it last summer. So now the situation Levy's got is this. He has to sit Harry Kane down and say, what do you want? You staying or you going? You need to answer the question. Kane gives you the answer. He says, I'm going to stay. Right. Let's put the contract together. And you give him what he wants. If Kane says, no, I want to wait. Sorry, I'm not going to let you go for free. I'm not going to wait. So you're up for sale. And then you have to accept a lower bid. Now, whether it's 80 million, 60 million, whatever it is, you have to get your money in. If you can try and get 60 million plus a player, brilliant. But that's the reality of where we're at. If we let this drag on, Andrew's going to get asked questions and he's going to eventually snap. He's going to get fed up of it. The team and his players are going to start saying, yo, Harry, you here next year? Harry, you going? That's going to put pressure on the situation. Then you're going to have the situation where Harry Kane, his head's not here, so he's got to be dropped. And it's just going to spiral. And every time one of these little things happen, the media grabs hold of it, the rival fans grab hold of it, and it just becomes a toxic mess. Daniel Levy needs to get control of the club situation. This is a club problem. Get control, put a deadline, and then go with whatever is agreed or whatever Kane has decided. And you know what? If we let this drag on and he ends up staying, yes, he's going to go on a free and he's going to fuck us because, well, he's going to fuck Levy, not us. And he'll walk out the door for zero. So I don't understand how any fan is saying he'll go on a free. It's impossible. What club in the history of football has let the best player walk out the club for free? It's unheard of.
Nobody.
So I don't get it. I don't understand this.
I mean,
you'll go on a free.
What? We almost did. Remember, we almost did with Sanchez and Ozil, but we managed to give Ozil 400K a week almost, and we managed to swap Sanchez with 6 months left on his deal for.
Fine. You did it though. Stefan. You did it.
That was poor management. I mean, it was a shit show then. So with Kane,
Leslie Crawford, can you get that comment up, Mahri? Can you get that comment up? Sorry, Leslie Crawford. Yeah. You say Kane wants to leave. Levy doesn't have to make him leave. It's not for Levy to make him leave, Leslie. It's for Levy to give Kane the ultimatum: stay or leave. And if Kane says leave, it's down to Levy to accept the price. Levy will not get the price he wants. He needs to be flexible. If Levy thinks he's going to get 100 million for a player that can walk on a free in 5 months, it's illogical. There is no sense in that. Levy has to get control of the situation.
No, Levy.
He's a Spurs asset. Get control of your assets. He's a Spurs asset. Control your assets.
But here's the thing: if you look at history and precedents, when Levy is put like this, what he does is he milks the situation. He's going to wait until deadline day. He will know that. I'm sure Kane has told him, "I'm not signing a new deal. I'm not currently signing a new deal."
Then you have to send him.
But he can't, because Levy knows PR, right? He cares about his image. So if he leaks the fact that
he cares about money. Dude, he cares about money.
But he also cares about his image. Also, like, he doesn't want to.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He sat there every single week. Every single week, he sat in that stadium. We want Levy out. We want Levy out. What does he do to protect his image? He puts Stelios in charge.
He fires
He
Nuno.
He puts Stelios in charge. Dude, this guy will do the cheapest, most cost-effective way out of any situation. And he's not going to get that 100 million. Daniel Levy needs to swallow his fucking pride.
He will still.
You are not winning. Levy's not winning this one.
No, he will swallow it.
Stumped.
He will swallow it. No, but he will swallow it. But the problem is he's going to swallow it like he did with Berbatov on the last day of the window and sign. Who did you guys sign as a replacement? Fraser Campbell or some shithead? I forgot who was it.
Fraser Campbell. Fraser Campbell.
Yeah, it was a disaster. And he did the same. And then he did the same with Bale, where he stole the deal because he knew Arsenal wanted Ozil, and only said that he wouldn't agree to the Bale deal if Real Madrid sold them Ozil. Real Madrid had to secretly send like a representative to deal with Arsenal so they could sell Ozil behind his back. So,
but Stefan, if he leaves it to the last minute, if he leaves it to the last minute, shall I tell you what will happen? We won't get in an adequate replacement, and you're going to see the mother of meltdowns, and
that's why I think
in our fan base,
and that's why I honestly
it will be Levy out chance. The banners will come out. It will be a disaster. He needs to do it now. He's got to get this situation sorted now.
We have a question. It's a great question by neutral fan. Question is: do Spurs fans trust Levy, Daniel Levy, to invest 100 million on players?
No.
Which Levy deferred?
No.
Well, the answer is no. I do not. And this is what's just the tough thing for Ange. This was a perfect question, right? If I can't trust Levy, because we know he's in charge of the transfer market, interviews, talk sport. If I can't trust him to get at least one center back before this preseason, now I'm supposed to trust him with 100 mil for players. That's the
who would you bring? Exactly. Here's the thing. If he leaves it last minute, not even last minute, if he leaves it until August, which club is going to agree to sell? Because in order to replace Kane, you're going to probably be going to a club where you're going to be buying their best player. Who's going to agree to sell you their best player with like 2 weeks to go in the transfer window or 3 weeks to go? Nobody.
What best player joins a club who's just sold their best player?
Exactly.
Do you know why Declan Rice went to Arsenal? Do you know one of the reasons? Probably because they've kept all their top players. He's not seeing players walking out the door.
Arteta too. That was a big factor.
Whatever. There's players not leaving the club, right? At the end of the day, if you're a top player, you're looking at the club and you're thinking, right, what's the squad look like? If you see the best player leave, you're thinking, is this making my chances better or lower of winning trophies? Well, obviously, if your best player's walked, it's lower. So I don't understand who we're going to bring in.
I honestly, I can't think of even, the only player that I can think of that can be a talisman is Ivan Toney. But we know Levy. He's not going to invest 50 to 60 million.
He's banned for January.
He's not going to invest 50, 60 million in a player who's going to be missing for the first 4 to 5 months of the season.
This has been a hot topic within the channels, right? So he goes to Bayern, right? And I say this as I put a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of religion in there. For women, right? For them, they value in general, not all. In general, they really value in how they look, right? And for men, it's what not all, but most is what they have accomplished. What have they done with their hands? So everybody said, all right, if he goes to Bayern, it's an automatic gimme that he's won the league. Well, for him, he has never tasted winning a league, let alone a trophy, but winning a league, right? Now, he could go to City or Real Madrid, but if they're not offering, you know, they're not putting a transfer offer, then yes, winning a German league for him, for Kane, it is tasting something. Like he could go to other places like, hey, I've won the league, right? But Baba said, I've won the French league, I won the league, but I've won the league, you know? Yeah. I mean, he's won the league. I mean, even if he flew to America and won MLS, you won the league.
Unless you go to Man City, there's no guarantees of trophies in England either.
You guys, but wait, but Mahri's focused on the wrong thing here. Mahri, this is Bayern Munich. I know they're in the German league, but this is Bayern Munich. This is one of the top 3-4 clubs.
I know.
Like, forget the fact that they're guaranteed the German
and they're in the
league.
Champions League. They're in the Champions League as well.
This is one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
Like, why
I was just finished, Stefan. No, yeah, Bayern, because you have some Tottenham fans, not us, who are like, oh, Bayern. But no, Bayern. I'm in Florida. I see Bayern jerseys. I go see my girlfriend in Mexico. I see Bayern, a huge club. Any German that lives in the world, you're going to find, or German descendants, you'll find Bayern Munich. You find it's a major club. So if you win a title, a league with Bayern Munich, there's some prestige to it.
It's also he's going to Bayern Munich and he knows he's gonna be the main man. They're the only thing they're missing, in my opinion, to challenge for the Champions League and to win it is the number 9, which he will go.
It wouldn't be City. That was the only thing they were missing.
I don't know. With Kane, they have a very good chance of beating City, man.
That was the only thing they were missing. A striker against City. That was the only thing they were missing.
And this thing the other thing I noticed in like other channels and just comments from people on Twitter and stuff is like they're making it out to be as if like Kane doesn't want to move to Munich, as if Munich is like some third world country where Kane can't adapt. Or these are football players. They're super rich. I'm sure that he will find a good international British school in Munich. It's a really international place. Like this argument that Spurs fans are like, oh, he's not going to want to move his family to Munich, as if like it's like some incredible concept to like move to Munich. For me, it's such a, I don't know, it's such a poor argument of it's Bayern Munich. He knows he's going to be the number 1 guy. He's going to be the real replacement for Lewandowski. So it's something to actually live on. And if I'm Kane, you know what I would do? Kane doesn't rely on his pace. So Kane can go to Bayern Munich, win the Champions League, win the German league for 3 years, and then come back to the Prem. Maybe even come back to Spurs if he wants, and then beat Shearer's record.
He has plenty of time. Survive relegation.
You're not that bad, still. Come on, you're not that bad.
Without a defense, yes, we are.
No, without Kane, without Kane, I honestly worry for you guys. Like I don't think you'll finish in the top 10 without Kane. Like I honestly think.
If we don't have Kane, I would say probably 11th or 12th. I don't think we'll be a regulation because
Sonny we bring in.
Will play. I think Sonny will be serviceable playing up front. And like I said, we will score goals. We will give up a lot of goals. And so I think we'll finish middle of the table.
Mahri, do you know what? We talk about how we haven't bought any defenders. We haven't sold any, which means that they will be exposed to game time. This is like we need to get rid of them as much as we need to keep, as much as we need new ones, because as long as they're there, they'll play. They'll find the way to get game time, and that's when it all goes wrong.
Hars
No,
brings up a
it's
point.
just you need to
People
remove
are
the players.
so dramatic. Spurs will finish top half even without Kane.
Um,
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know about- yeah.
Wait.
There was Mahri, there was a stat which basically took out all of Kane's goals and where Spurs would have finished. I think without Kane's goals, of course.
What I don't like about that is it's still a flaw to that, because you still have to leave room to expect people to come and replace a goal. I get what you're saying. And Horace, I'm glad you brought this up. I like this. This is the debate.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I said this at the beginning of the show, right? The Premier League is so tough. There are so many good teams. I mean, Stefan has just said Chelsea is going to finish in the bottom half. So
book it, guys. Book it. I'll be right at the end. You'll see.
So it is so tough. You got Brentford, you have Brighton, you got Villa, you got so many teams. There is a possibility, if we don't have Kane, that we could finish 11th, 12th, 13th. It's not far-fetched.
Mahri, this chart shows. Can you take that Kane leaving thing away just for 1 second? This chart shows where Spurs would have finished without Kane's goals. 17th. 17th in the Premier League.
Okay, so there's a little
flaw to that, because you have to expect not the full 30 goals, but some goals that may come in. So I'm thinking more like 13th, 12th. 14th.
Okay, 13th, 14th. We are nowhere near European football without Harry.
And Mahri, I would argue that Son, because you're saying Son will take up more. I think Son is going to be another. People are going to say I'm biased. I think a lot of Son's success is because of Kane, because of his passing, because of his the way his chemistry with Kane was unique. Kane immediately knew when to play the actual through ball. So I think his game will greatly suffer without Kane. I think he's going to go.
But the counter to that.
No, go ahead, Stel.
I was going to say, but the counter to that is when Kane's been injured or out of the squad, Son's always stepped up in time.
That's true.
He's always stepped up. So for me, the problem we've got with Son at the moment is this injury, this hernia. He needs to get over that. I don't know how long that takes. He's had an operation recently, apparently. So
that was
Richarlison is the Kane replacement, and you know what? It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a shit show with him up front. He's awful.
He's off. Like I couldn't believe. Like I can't believe this guy plays for Brazil, man. He is.
Yeah, but you see, Hotspur 82, Villa, Brentford, Brighton. You're right, but they've got more. They've got more players contributing towards scoring goals. Where's the midfielders? Where's the midfielders that score goals at Spurs? Who are they?
Other than Mads.
Hopefully, Maddison's one, but then that doesn't even replace Kane's goals.
Well,
where's it coming from?
And then the defense.
Bentancur was injured. Højbjerg hardly scores. Skip doesn't score. Kulusevski stopped scoring. No. Solomon, the new signing, his end product is very low.
No, and
it's very low.
No, but still, the other thing is
Richarlison can't even hit the target. See, teams that finish in Europe without a out and out quality striker, they've got a lot of contributing goal scorers from midfield. Spurs haven't had that since the days of Dele Alli, Eriksson, back in those.
They will use
we don't have it.
Arsenal have
those goal scorers.
That's true. That's true. Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka, and Jesus, and that's without taking into account that the season before that, Smith Rowe had the most goals out of all these players.
A good team will have 4 or 5 players who are going to score, but once again, those teams had a team, right? Their backline, they're not questioning their backline. As of today, because I don't do what ifs. As of today, Dyer and Sanchez are on our team. I don't do what ifs.
And
They're on our
Rodon.
team.
Well, you know what?
And
You know what the
Tanganga.
funniest thing is? You guys might be in a bit of a turmoil, but I still think you're gonna finish above Chelsea. That's how shit I think Chelsea are gonna be this season. You still have a better team than if you look at your team compared to theirs, your team is better in terms of individuals that are proven in the Premier League, no matter if they're maybe not good enough for the top four. Like, for example, can you guys explain to me why everybody from the Spurs community, like not everybody, but he's very polarizing, Højbjerg? I think you should keep him. Why are you selling this guy?
He's not.
Do you know?
not
Do you know?
good.
Do you know why?
And
Stefan. Do
high.
you know why?
If
Do you know why?
Madrid is interested in him, sell him high because he's not going to get any better. This is the time to sell Højbjerg. We need to become ruthless. I'm sorry. I get what you're saying. He's not horrible, but he's not great.
He's better than Skip, Mahri. He's way better than Skip.
I agree. He's better. He's better than Skip. Trust me. He's better than Skip. But if we have a potential buyer for him now, Atletico Madrid, right? And people know my opinions about Højbjerg. You know, there are times this guy frustrates me. But if there's a time now that if Atletico Madrid is seriously wanting to buy him for 25 or 30, will be foolish not to sell him. Sell him now while he's hot. That's the problem with Spurs. We didn't sell Ali, we didn't sell Dyer, we didn't sell the people that we need to sell at the time. This is why the Man City's are good, right? Yes, are they giving up good the end to let him walk away? Like they know when to get rid of their good plays. They know, right? Yes, we don't have the Tatis of the world who played for the whole time, and maybe you could keep one play like that. But mostly, you got to know when to get rid of a player. And Højbjerg, this is now.
But Mahri, aren't you concerned that a team like Atletico Madrid is interested in him? Doesn't that tell you that he's actually good? Like that would tell me, like Atletico Madrid want him, like they're a Champions League Spanish team, and we are, we're consistently arguing over whether he's good enough.
They got their marbles loose, and we'll happily give.
Really?
Happily. I don't know about Stel. I would happily give. I mean, those who are in the chat, I would happily give Højbjerg, especially if Atletico Madrid is interested in him. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I think Højbjerg is actually a good player, right? I think he's a good player. However,
I think so too.
The issue I've got with Højbjerg is that he never controls a game of football. Most games are won in midfield. Whoever controls the game.
But that's not his game style.
But Stefan, hear me out. Defensively, his ability to turn quickly isn't there, and his actual passing game when under pressure is pretty poor. He pops up with more goals than what fans give him credit for, and he actually does find some decent through balls as well. So he's got good aspects to his game, and I do think he's got leadership qualities. I do. However, the problem with Spurs is that we compare everything to when we were actually really good. So I'm going back to the Poch days because we were really good. Even Harry Redknapp, we were really good. And you look at players that used to play in that role, Scotty Parker, one year, Belays. He doesn't come. He's not at that level. So because of that, we always feel we're never going to achieve high with him there. And I think that's probably fair. That's probably a fair assessment. Look, I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's the answer to what we as fans at Tottenham want to see our club do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Steph, but he also has one of, in my opinion, the most underrated qualities of any football player: availability. He's never injured, which is for me an extremely important quality when looking at a player. No, I get it. Bissouma is more talented than him.
Yeah, but Eric Dyer's always available. That's a problem.
No, he's not. He was injured for the last like five or six games.
The past 2-3 seasons, he's been our starting centre back. He's barely missed a game. I don't think availability is a quality. I think sometimes I don't want players to be available.
And what was that? And still, can you tell me? Can you tell me what was that PR disaster again from the Spurs, from Levy, doing a documentary on Eric Dyer?
Do you know why they've done that? No, do you know why they've done that?
Who does PR for your club, man? Because they need to get fired.
No,
Seriously.
it's clever. It's clever. It's clever. They've done it on purpose because
they know how gullible
they've done it. They've done it on purpose because they know they're not going to sell him, and they know fans want him gone. So release the documentary, make him look good. What a great guy! And then you swing enough fans across to say, do you know what? We should keep Dyer for one more year. It's to suck fans in to what they're about to do. We're gonna keep Dyer. We're gonna keep him, and we're gonna pay the price. Fans will be like, but he was so good in the documentary. He was so cool in the documentary.
Yeah, but how can fans accept this though? Like, he's been terrible for like 4 years now. How can they say
that's why I say the fans are the problem. That's why I say the fans are the problem, and I get abused for it, but they are. Our fans are a problem.
To respond to this, quite a few. If Kane is going to go, we have to keep Son. But this is a question we have to come up with. There's going to be a time where we're going to have to make that tough decision with Son because he's no spring chicken. Where we're going to have to, right? We're going to have to give up Son too. But with Kane, the same thing. With that money that's going to come in, do we trust Levy to spend it right? Because you're right. Yeah, if I'm preaching that about Hoiberg, well, I don't consider world-class Dyer Ali, but our world-class players, Kane, who does want to stay, Sonny, who does want to stay, but he's on the other side now of his age. Yeah, it comes to a point that big clubs do say, hey, you're going to have to go. You have the rarities of Totti. Okay, he stays, long to 35, 36, whatever his age was when Totti retired. But that's what clubs do, right? Messi had to go leave Barcelona. Ronaldo had to leave Real Madrid. That's what the good clubs, the major clubs do. It comes to a point where, and you have to be smart about it too. Like, how much can we get for Kane? How much can we get for Son? All right, now, the bad thing is, Levy and the board's going to inherit that money, so they're not going to spend it correctly.
You're never selling Son. He makes too much money for you off the field.
We can't sell Son and Kane. We can't sell both. We would literally.
If you sell
relegation.
If you sell Son and Kane, we have to. Because. Right?
Mahri,
if you're thinking,
there's no way we're selling both players. I don't think Son would want to leave Spurs.
No, Son loves
I'm not saying at the same time. No, I'm not saying that at the same time. But I said there will be a point. Where we have to.
One day he'll get too old. One day he'll get too old.
But even then, I still think Levy will keep him at the club. Son, because Son loves Spurs, and I mean the guy signed a new deal whilst Nuno was in charge.
Agree.
That's how much he loves Spurs. And just the commercial, the commercial value for keeping Son in terms of the amount of money he makes for you in the Asian market, for me, from a business perspective, Levy, I honestly think Levy would prefer to sell Kane rather than Son, because I think Son makes him a lot of. I know Kane's a much better player, but I just think Son is so valuable for Spurs. Not only that, for Spurs to grow as a brand because of his huge fan following. I mean, I always hear about the actual Spurs stadium, about how many Korean fans come to the Spurs stadium just so they can watch Son and buy merchandise with Son. And like, I remember watching the Amazon Prime doc on Spurs, how like South Korean fans, there's like a mob waiting for him outside the training ground every single day, just him with like his shirt, his memorabilia. So for me, I think, and just Son loves Spurs. I kind of respect that about him. One of the few players I actually like from Spurs is Son. I think he's just a really nice guy, and and here's an example of a guy who loves Spurs. The moment there were rumors about Saudi Arabia, of him moving to Saudi Arabia, he came out 2 or 3 days later saying, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I want to prove myself playing for Spurs and who the real Son is. Kane hasn't said one thing, and there hasn't been one form of criticism for that to him. I'm just surprised at how. I get Kane is your best ever player, but I mean, like, he's not handling. I know everybody's putting the blame on Levy, that Levy needs to take control of the situation. But what about Kane? Can Kane publicly come out and say, listen, I want to leave. I've told Levy I don't want to sign a new deal. Why isn't he doing that? So for me, it's also Kane's fault because he's allowing for the speculation to continually develop, which is from the German sources. Even, I mean, the German, what was it? The former director, Uli Hoeneß, came out and said that he's spoken to Kane's representatives and that Bayern have spoken to them and that they've promised him that he's gonna move. So I don't know, like, it's not.
And it's a huge elephant in the room. Every press conference, they're bombarding Ange with
Every single press conference.
Yeah, there with the questions, and it was interesting that Kane didn't get to speak to the media, not even the Spurs play media, because Spurs play media is safe. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, between trying to get some center backs in, and if you looked at his press conference, his response was like, "Yeah, we know we need that." So it's and everybody say, "Oh, he's not Conte, he's not Jose to complain," but
But you know what? I just want to say something, Mahri. Super impressed with Ange in his press conferences. That is what I want a manager to talk to. Not like Mourinho, where he consistently moaned about the fact that, like, he consistently just it was throwing little slight digs at Spurs that they should listen to him, that he's won trophies. And then you had Conte, who looked like he was in prison and like was consistently comparing Spurs to all the teams that previously were. Like, it was so demeaning to it was great from an Arsenal fan perspective because it was funny how he like consistently like just shit on you guys. But it's finally you have a manager that actually cares, like that feels like he cares about the club and he's proud. He thinks like he wants to be at the club. So for me, it's if I was Ange, I would sit down Kane also, what Stel said about Levy, and say, listen, you have to tell me. I'm going to speak to the chairman. I have to take charge of it. Like every single press conference is dominated by your transfer future. So can you please like either tell us you're leaving so we can plan for the future, or you're gonna sign a new deal. Either that or. And that's it.
I agree, Stefan. Stefan, spot on.
I agree. And the second thing he needs to do is walking down to the office and say, "Did you see Sanchez yesterday? Did you see it? Did you see that third goal? Can you please get me some help?" Or I'm now hearing that even the young kid, the deals collapse. Can you get us some setbacks? Can you please?
Yeah.
Can you please get us some setbacks? I think those are the two things he needs to do. Like, Daniel, there's been a 3-year problem. Can we get some center backs?
Supposedly, yeah. Go on, Stone.
I was going to say, Will's saying apparently if Kane leaves, that Anthony Carball's going to be our back. Listen, if this happens, I'm done with the season. I'm actually done with the season. If this is one of the most disgraceful signings as a replacement. If this is what happens, right? It's all speculation, journalists, who knows? But if that goes down, I'm done. I can't. I physically can't do a season like that. It's too much.
Do you know who I think you're going to try and sign if you do sell Kane? I think you're going to, because it's Paratici, you're going to try and sign Vlahovic.
But he won't come to us, Stefan. I would love Vlahovic.
Stel, if you offer him enough money, he will come. Trust me, I'm from the Balkans.
I don't know, bro.
If you offer him money, he will come.
Non-European. Yeah, but from Juventus to non-European football.
That Vlahovic is the Allegri. Allegri kills careers. Allegri.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's why I tell people, whoever gets Vlahovic is getting a good time, because Allegri.
Yeah, Vlahovic is a good player.
I mean,
Allegri destroyed his career.
I'm not being Carver. If we get
You know
Carver,
what?
this club's finished. This
I
club's
have-
finished, man. Just play Dane Scarlett and Troy Parrott. Just let them play. I don't care. I'll take them over Carver.
No,
Put Parrott up front.
Levy,
No, dude, I don't care. It can't. At least they'll want to try and prove a point. At least they'll try and prove a point. He's off to PSG. Great.
No, he's not off to PSG. They're saying that only if they meet his price tag, which Juventus have set at like 80 million euros.
We're not going to spend 80 million on a striker.
If you sell Kane, Levy's gonna go in. He's gonna go into panic mode. He's gonna.
If we sell Kane, Daniel Levy will pocket some of the money, put it towards stadium debt, and try and find a striker between 50 to 60 mil. He'll do another Richarlison job. We've never spent 80 million on anyone. We're not going to start now without European football.
Honestly, though, Stel,
I know Levy. I know what he's like.
I get it, but I've always told you that Levy is inherently insecure by what Arsenal does. So I remember when Aubameyang signed his new deal after he won the FA Cup. On the same day, he leaked the Bale news. So he's upset. So right now he's seeing Arsenal sign Rice. He knows every single Spurs fan is like, look at Arsenal. Look how they've gone ahead of us.
No,
if you sell Kane,
I think a lot of Spurs fans are like, we don't care about Arsenal. We're going to cook next season. I don't think you realise how deluded the situation is at Spurs. We're a very deluded,
you're not still
divided fan base. No, we're divided. We're divided.
Oh yeah, you're
divided.
But Mahri is reasonable. You're reasonable. Danny, we always argue with Danny on Twitter, but he's still reasonable. Like, not all Spurs fans are like, they think like.
No, but we are one side of the divide. So the other side will say we're not reasonable, whereas you will say our side is reasonable. But it's a cesspit, man. But believe you me, the amount of Spurs fans right now that are they're loving Tottenham right now, which is fair. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think like you're shooting your load, man. Like we're jumping the gun again. We're doing it again because we played some good football that we haven't done in 4 years. But we lost 3-2 to a relegation team, man.
And to a relegation team with like most of their
starting
squad. Yeah, it's just.
And I will say this. I said
it was a good game, though. It was a good game.
You know what?
It was a good game. I enjoyed watching Spurs play, man.
Which is.
And I will say,
I don't like losing. I don't like losing.
I would say this is
like
it's a perfect example, because I know people will say, well, with Monyo, we went undefeated in the preseason and we had a bad start, right? With Wande, Monyo. Last season, you could tell that Arsenal was going to have a good season because their preseason was real good last season.
It was.
Their preseason was last good. And so for people to say, oh, it's just a preseason, I don't care. You always want to do good in the preseason. And that's not even winning games, right? You want to look good because you want to get that positive momentum, bring it on to the new season. And that's why I'm so upset with the center backs. Because even if we lost to West Ham, same score 3-2. But if we had gotten the new center backs, at least, okay, we just did a test run, a trial run. All right, next game, let's see as you improve. Now that test run is going to be Brentford and United.
I saw the way you guys I saw the way you guys defend crosses against West Ham. And if you defend like this against Brentford, who are super good in the air and who have extremely physical players, even without Tony, it's not gonna be a good day. But I just think Levy cannot not sign at the center back. Like, it's so obvious. It's like you have to, like, even in that game, it was so obvious. Like, you have to be almost blind to not see that you need center backs. Like, even like the funniest thing I saw was there was a meme on Twitter. I think it was part of a training
50-60 million. Sorry, 50-60 million.
Yeah. I saw like a meme of a training video where Spurs fans were taking the piss out of Eric Dyer, where there's a header or something in the training video, and Eric Dyer does the same shit where he holds his hands behind his back and like passively just turns his back. And it's like, how many years do you guys need to realize that he's not good enough, nor is Sanchez, and like, you have to move
Dude,
on.
tell that to the hierarchy, man. Like,
no, and that was what Arsenal did, which was subtraction by, they said, you know what, Aubameyang is terrible for the dressing room. He's always late. Ozil is terrible for the dressing room. Mustafi, Socrates, they're not good enough. We have to let them go. We're not going to make any money on them, but we have to take that hit because it's better for the long-term future. And I honestly think Levy clings in the same way that Spurs fans cling on to the Poch years, where Eric Dyer had a good season under Poch, or Davinson Sanchez's first season after he got signed, he was good. And so like Levy thinks that any minute some coach is going to come in and create this magical recipe or formula that Poch did for those 2-3 years where Spurs were actually a very good side. And those players were part of that team. So I think that's what Levy, and I think that's why he hired Mourinho and Conte, because he thought, oh, Poch did these amazing results with this progression with these players. If I get an elite manager who wins things, who has a record of that, they're going to go up another level. And I think that's your biggest problem. And I can't understand why people are not protesting against Levy, or not even, at least starting a Twitter campaign. Like I see your campaign with what was his name? Brian Daigle.
Open gold.
Yeah. Well done, guys. You know what? I saw some videos of some other accounts where you guys were protesting and they were filming you and taking the piss out of you. Like what? What's your point? Like they're protesting because they believe. They believe.
Yeah, but this is the division in the club. The way it works at Spurs.
I can't understand the other side. Their argument. I heard some of their arguments.
I can't understand it either. But
like their argument is that, oh, at least our club isn't like in the 90s when we were really shit. But you haven't won anything.
But there's three sections to Spurs, right? You've got the ones that want the owners gone, Levy out, Enoch out. That's one section. Then you've got another section which praises the owners for what they've done off the field, and off the field is super important, and off the field has actually become more important than on the field. Then you've got the third group, which is they're in the middle, but they're just fed up of all of it. They're fed up of the division. They're fed up of the football not being good, and they don't want to, and they don't want to blame anyone. So they're the biggest group, Stefan. They're the ones that do nothing.
Yeah, no, they're like the third group that just say, listen, I don't care about all
the spectators. The spectators. They just sit back and watch what happens.
They just want to go for the weekend, have a beer, relax with their friends, and just deal with Levy out chance and stuff like that. Which to me is a little bit like, I wouldn't call it bourgeois, kind of like because
how our fan base hasn't literally gone insane at the club for not bringing at least one centre back in by now shows you that there's a cultural issue at Spurs within the fan base. I think our fan base has become, I've spoken about many times before, I think our fan base has become very placid. The standards have dropped amongst the fans, which means that they tolerate a lower level of quality. There's a difference. Expectation is what you think is going to happen. A standard is what you're prepared to tolerate as a level of quality. And I think we're prepared to tolerate a far lower level of quality. This placid, low-level fan base that we've become, it's a problem. And that's why we don't have the centre-backs, because Levy will get away with it.
No, it's...
Look, if we don't buy a centre-back, but we bring back Longley and Romero start every game, most fans will tolerate it. They say they won't, but most will. That's the problem. Most will say, do you know what? Things take time. Let's see where we are. Let's see where we're 3 years in the project. That's what will be said.
No, but still, I also think Spurs are missing, like, this is the other thing which Levy, for someone that has a PR expert on his board,
missing 4 defenders. Two holding mids.
But forget forget the fact that you need that's
a good
obvious.
backup
What I'm
striker.
telling is no, but I get it. But what I'm trying to say is that Levy needs to kind of communicate with the fans and say, this is our plan. Like, for example, I remember when Arsenal had just got into their new stadium, and we were still like a very good team trying to compete. We were, losing out because we didn't have any money. And I used to get like so angry with like Arsenal not signing anybody. And then my dad would tell me, this is you now. Like, you don't have money. You just, it's just Arsenal. Chelsea are richer than you. And I couldn't grasp it in my head. But what was the main reason why I would get angry is because the club wouldn't communicate. Wenger would never come out and say, we don't have any money. We don't have any sort of money, so we can't sign players. And so there would be constant polarization from people like, for example, Ty from AFTV, who if Wenger fucking murdered somebody on the street, he'd still defend him. Or you would have like the other side of AFTV who wanted Wenger. I wanted Wenger out. I was part of I wouldn't call Wenger, but I just thought after the first FA Cup win in 2014, he should have gone then. But that's a different. But for me, it's the same with Spurs, which is, yes, you need to sign center backs, but is there a strategy in place? Is there a vision? Like, for example, Josh Kroenke, and I really respect him for this. At the height of the Super League and all that shit, when 5,000 to 6,000 people protest outside the Emirates, the next month Stan Kroenke went in front of the fan forum and started commenting on the vision. He started getting questions from the fans. I really respect
Our board don't speak to us, Stefan. They don't speak to us. We have no idea what goes on.
That rebuttal that they sent, I have never read a more arrogant and kind of "be grateful, you little shits" type letter that I've ever read.
Response to the Supporters Trust.
Yeah, I can't believe Spurs fans didn't riot after that, because this
is the thing. We went silent off the back of that. This is what I'm saying. We've become a very placid fan base. Listen, Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis and Donna Cullen have successfully taken over a sports company, changed the look and feel of it, made it a multi-purpose sports business, which they're still going to expand. We're going to do other sports in the future. And what they've turned us into is an attraction where people want to come out and hang out. They have turned us into something that we're not. But the majority of fans will
American
accept
model.
it because they see the money, and they think this money is going to make us compete with the top clubs. But it never will. And the reason it never will is because it's not the money, it's how you spend it. And we've never ever had ambitious, strategically planned winners of football at the helm. And until we get that, it doesn't matter how much money we get. We will spend another 200 million, 300 million maybe one day. We will fuck it up. We don't have football people at the top. This Scott Munn guy, I don't believe for 1 second he's the answer. He's another smoke screen.
But again, that was a screw up for me.
He's a business strategist. He's a business strategist. He's not a football director. We don't have a football director.
But still, even that though, there was controversy because he couldn't start on his supposed date that he was supposed to start. That was delayed. Levy screwed that up too again. I mean, some of the ineptitude over the last 4 to 5 years. How could people not call for Levy's head after what happened with Paratici? He kept him on, and supposedly Paratici is still advising you guys on transfers on like a part-time basis. After he's been convicted of, I forgot what it was, but it was like some sort of financial fraud with Juve. So it was, for me, it's just there's no plan. And I think that's the biggest reason. There is no vision. All Levy thinks about is he thinks now, I've built the actual stadium. I've built the best training ground, even though every other club has elite training grounds. Like, just because yours is the newest doesn't mean it's like something like so different from the other training grounds.
Do you know something? I'm doing a show on this next week. I've actually looked at other clubs. They've all got plans.
Arsenal has an amazing training ground.
They've all a lot of the Premier League clubs now have got new training facilities. Anfield is being expanded. Leicester have got plans to expand. Leicester's academy
Leicester's
first team
training
training
ground.
is still better than ours.
Yeah.
Every Man City have just got planning permission to expand one of the stands and build a fan park. Dude, it's only a matter of time before our stadium isn't this game changer anymore.
No,
It's
it was
only a matter of time.
It was the same with us when Arsenal built the Emirates in 2006. We had the best stadium in the world for like 3-4 years, but then they built the Allianz Arena in Munich. They built your stadium, and
Barcelona Stadium are going to have events.
Yeah.
Real Madrid is going to host NBA games. But the difference with those clubs, they've reassured their fans the primary heart of that stadium is their football clubs.
But Mario,
Whereas
you're
our
giving
club-
They've never.
the website
Yeah.
Spurs mentioned last events, concert, Oh
But
yes,
Mario-
and the home of Spurs.
but Mario,
On our
wait,
website, lists
go on.
everything, and then football's last. On the
Football was
website,
last.
Stefan.
No, I agree with you, but Mari's comparing apples
Sorry,
and
that's,
oranges.
you know what? That's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy, man.
No, but wait, but in La Liga, they have to answer to people because they're shareholders and the chairmen get voted in. So the culture of the club is football. The problem is that Spurs, the culture of the club is derived from a person that's famous for.
But even despite that, I think they know the fans still have the say in the power. It's the same thing with Italy. Like, you mess with the ultras, you mess with supporters, they'll chase you out of town. They will come after you, especially outside of England. Like, they will, they will come after you.
I'm not, Mark. It's not that. I mean, that shows the passion, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. For me, the most important thing is that there has to be the chairman has to come out and say and show some respect towards the fans. You guys pay the highest. I read. So what he did again, this is typical Levy. I remember listening to. I actually listened to you guys on the Fighting Cock when you went on the podcast. And I think
me and Brian and I.
Yeah, it was really good. And I remember Brian giving the example of when you had
got
to
a lot
move.
of abuse of that. Jesus, man.
You had to move from White Hart Lane to Wembley, and what Levy did was that he reimbursed people's tickets, but then increased the actual prices after that. So he does this consistently where he undermines the fans. He never speaks to the fans. And for the first time when they actually spoke with this, I think it's complete bullshit. This supporters forum that he's done. I think they're really not passionate about that. And they're really not committed to that. I just think they're doing it because they saw Arsenal have their annual forum. They saw Chelsea now are really about speaking to the fans. And so he's under pressure to actually copy them. So for me, it was just they don't communicate, and that's why Spurs fans are so polarized, because you have one fan who defends Levy and says, no, Levy wants success for this club. Look at what he's done. He's built the stadium. You have you guys.
Fans are polarized because they've lowered their standards, Stefan. Fans have lowered their standards.
But if Levy comes out still and says, listen, we don't have the same ambition as Man United or Arsenal or Chelsea.
But he's never going to say that. Why would you say that?
I know he's never going to say it, but you know what? At least he'll give clarity to fans. You know what I mean? Because I remember that feeling under Wenger.
He doesn't want clarity. He doesn't want clarity because the truth is he's not in it for the football. Daniel Levy is not in this for the football. Listen, at the end of the day, put yourself in his position. He bought the club for, I don't know, 100 million, whatever it is. I don't know. Let's just call it 100 million, there or thereabouts. The club's now worth 4 billion. He's 40x'd his initial investment. For him, it's how much he can cash out at the end of the day. And one day they will cash out. He will become a billionaire when he sells Tottenham Hotspur. This is what he's in it for. This is why he's here.
Yeah, supposedly still. Mike Keegan, who's been the main guy when it comes to the Man United takeover from the Daily Mail, said that he spoke to a few people from Spurs about if the Man United takeover fails, whether they would move to Spurs and what valuation. And supposedly people close to Levy said that Levy basically told them that the valuation that the Glazers have for Man United, which is between 5 to 6 billion, more so 6, he wouldn't even open the door for them. So I think it's going to be a huge problem for him to say. I think that's why he hasn't signed the licensing agreement for the stadium. It's because he values the stadium, I think, far more than any company that's offered him any sort of contract. If you remember, every single club that builds a new stadium, they immediately sign an Arsenal. The moment the stadium was close to being built, we had signed a deal with the Emirates. Bayern Munich, the same. They had already signed the deal with
Stefan.
Yeah.
What you're saying is, I'm going to invite you on that show, and I'm going to invite someone else if they accept the invite, because I'm a nerd to sports economics and the name rights of stadiums, which
I study sports management, so
yeah. So apparently Tottenham, Daniel Levy is too good for the world to not have stadium naming rights. Where the Rams built this beautiful stadium in LA, they had the naming rights.
SoFi, yeah. So yeah. It was immediately called SoFi.
Yeah, you have all these stadiums who are popping up, beautiful, just as beautiful. And like I said, I haven't got my chance into Tottenham's new stadium yet, but there are some new quality stadiums. There are ones that they built. They already have naming rights.
No, it's
a
disgrace.
It could be a crutch, right? You mentioned the Dallas Cowboys.
No, the biggest.
Can you name me which is one of the biggest cash cows, and the new Yankee Stadium, right?
No.
Combined together, those are the two valuable franchises, clubs in the world, right? Along with Real Madrid and stuff. They've built new stadiums. How many championships they've had between those two clubs? Dallas, 0.
Yeah. No, but Dallas is very similar to Spurs, which is the owner.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Which is the owner gets involved. He's also the only owner in sports that's also the general manager. Something that Levy also does. He gets involved in transfers, interferes.
Never played the game, never been a scout, but yet he has influence on the football roster. Yeah, I'm gonna do a show about that. That a new stadium could be a blessing. It could also be a curse if it's not done the right way. If it's not done the right way, and no, it's 100%.
Yeah, just to add on your point, this is the only example that I can think of. I'll give you a great example of marketing. The Atlanta Falcons Stadium. They designed it in a way where they could change the model of the stadium. It could change from. So they designed it in a way that it looks like a car from outside. Because why? Because they signed a deal with Mercedes-Benz prior to the construction of the actual stadium. So it's called the Mercedes-Benz Arena. It was built like 2 or 3 years ago. It looks awesome. But this is what every single club or whatever franchise in the States has a sponsorship. You guys have built the stadium. First of all, for all the praise that they give Levy, the stadium cost was supposed to be 500 to 600 million pounds. It was over £1 billion. The stadium, compared to other stadium openings that were on time, Arsenal's was on time, Bayern Munich's was on time, that I can remember. Spurs' one was delayed by, I think, almost, was it 6-7 months?
It was a couple of months. Because we premiered in April.
Yeah. It was. I remember it was supposed to be ready in like September, October, and it was ready in April, right? If I'm not mistaken, April 2019. It
was in April we opened it.
Yeah. So he lost a ton of money because of that management of the stadium. So all the praise that they give him for his, business savvy and all of that, why don't they give him shit for the fact that the stadium was delayed? The stadium was double the actual price. Don't get me wrong, stadiums are always they're undervalued in terms of the expected cost. They're always more expensive than they usually are, but not double the amount. So this thing that he's some great businessman. Because I've listened to Stel. I agree more. Like if you look at the last 4 to 5 years, the amount of mismanagement that this guy has done. I mean, spending 100 million on Lo Celso and Ndombele. That's 100 million down the drain. Then you have all the other signings that he's made, spending over 100 million on fullbacks that either can defend or can't attack. In Emerson Royale, in Reguilon, in Porro. I think Porro is going to be a disaster in the system.
This is what happens when you have multiple managers and then you have to bring in different players for each manager.
I agree. And that's on him.
I just want to
that's on him.
It's all on him. I just want to answer this because sometimes people, they respond to what I say with like a good comeback. Other times they make stuff up. Meta Football TV, you're just making stuff up. So let me clarify so that you can stop just trying to be a smart ass, basically. A spectator is someone that goes to watch an event. No. A spectator is someone that goes to watch an event, a match, or a show. Okay? A fan is the same, but has invested emotion and respect in the team. No. A fan is someone who wants to support the club. Supporting the club by paying for a match day ticket, paying for merchandise in the club, cheering the team on a match day. A spectator is someone that watches. A fan is someone who's involved and supports the project, right? Now, I don't demote fans because they don't follow suit. That's not what I said. You're lying. You're making stuff up, and this is what happens. I said the fan base is split into 3 sections. The fans. Number 1, the Levy out. They're very active, protesting, boycott the shop, on social media, hashtag Levy out. Then you've got the other side, which is the complete opposite. They love what the owners have done. They think the future's bright. The stadium's amazing. Financially, we're strong. As long as we're not like Chelsea and we live within our means, it's a great club to be a part of. Then you've got the middle group, the spectators. They sit and they watch this play out. And they're frustrated that there's a Levy out and a Levy in. They don't like it, but they don't want to get involved. So they sit back and they watch it. That's what I said. So when you say you demote because fans don't follow suit, who did I demote? I explained the 3 types of groups at the club. I hope you understand that. I hope you understand that. If you want to come at me for something I've actually said where I'm belittling the fans. The only time I've belittled the fans is where I've said our fans have lowered their expectations. And they have. And I just want to jump on this because you say the problem with Tottenham fans is that we have the expectation of Man United. While our history doesn't even justify that. I don't fully agree. I don't think we've got the expectation of Man United. But 23 years before Enoch and Levy, we won 5 trophies. 23 years of Enoch and Levy, we've won 1. If you're going to accept that, in the 23 years, the drop-off, if you're going to accept that, then your standards have dropped. I don't expect us to win Champions League and league title every year, but I expect us to win more than 1 trophy in 23 years. And if you accept it, then you have lowered your standards because you are accepting.
Let me just
that was my point.
Yeah, let me just add on your point.
Fans don't want to hear this, Stefan. By the way, a lot of fans don't want to hear this.
No, here's another thing.
I don't care because it's true.
Here's another thing because I actually told Mahri I would prepare for this podcast. This is a fact. Your average league position from 1980 to 1999 when Enoch came in. Right, I think 1999 was when they first bought a minority stake before they
owned the club in 2001. They owned the club in 2001.
But so your average league position from 1981 till 1999, where you won a league cup that year, was 8th. It was 8.2. Yeah. That was your. I did the math. 8.2.
Yeah. Now it's 6.4.
Yeah. Your average was like 6.3 or 6. I wrote it somewhere. It's not.
They've moved us 1.5 places up the league in 23 years.
So this concept that yes, are you because the 90s were really bad and you almost got relegated? Well,
and that's what you call someone that can't handle the truth. You're incapable of a rebuttal. As soon as you get personal like that, you've cooked yourself. Congratulations, man. Sorry, Stefan.
Yeah, it was the same with Arsenal. It was the same with Arsenal fans after we built our stadium, which was we were an elite team that competed and beat Man United a number of times until we became pretty much we couldn't because nobody communicated to us that we don't have money. We're going to have to really, really be frugal for the next 6 to 7 years to pay off the debt. Nobody told us this. So every fan had the same expectation as they did when we were the Invincibles and all of that. And so what happened was that people slowly, as you said with Spurs fans, they started lowering their standards, including Wenger. He was part of the problem. He was part of the culture rotting, where he started saying that winning the league and stuff is overrated. Getting top 4, that's a trophy. And that's how the culture of the club started going from being Invincibles and under George Graham and being a winning team, a team that wants to win trophies, to a team that, as you said, is all about the commercial revenue, which is we need to get top 4 because we need to pay off our stadium debt, and we need to make make ends meet in a way, because Arsenal were really in debt. And I'll be honest, I admire Wenger. He could have left us. The fact that not a lot of Arsenal fans forget this when they shit on him. The only reason why the bank gave us a huge mortgage to actually pay for the stadium was that Wenger had to promise that he would stay at Arsenal for the next 7 years when it was being paid. So the man really did love Arsenal. I'm not shitting on it. I just said that because of what happened and because there was no vision and communication about it, the standard that the club and the culture of the club rotted. And so it's the same thing with Spurs. The same thing is.
What, man, we could probably talk about this for hours, and I'm gonna do a show like that, and
save it for next week. Once a week.
We'll do this next week. Just one thanks for those who have come out. This is our very first episode. Once the games come in, man, it's going to be heated. Some of us are come in with L's, some losses. Some are going to come with some victories, some draws. So it's going to be real interesting. Like I said, me and TJ will host. We're going to have, of course, our goal is to have 3 Arsenal, 3 Spurs. Stefan, if you here every week, great. I mean, like I said,
thanks for the invite, man. Yeah, I really.
We'll talk after. We like it. People love it. People hate it. That tells you you're great. You're good. Because that's what it's all about. But next week we will start a little bit earlier. We start a little bit late because I knew TJ was running late. But we'll start a bit early. And yes, please, Stuff, you could put soccer sessions, the link. Go to that channel. Next week we'll be on both channels again. But once the season starts, we'll be on soccer sessions. So you want to subscribe, like, and subscribe to that channel. But yeah, next week we'll talk about the next games and really see how our teams are improving little by little. Hopefully by that time a miracle happens. We get a center back. Next we'll talk about kids. We didn't get a chance to talk about kids and that video, but we'll do that next. We'll do that next week. But Estelle puts up the link. But do you have
guys? Yeah. I just first, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to thank you guys for the actual time and for the invite. This was a great conversation from two sides that are on opposite sides. But after all the actual talk, we didn't discuss I think the most important thing, and this is going to be a quick answer.
Save it next week, Stefan. Do it next week.
Just quick. It's a one-word answer. Who is being the signing of the season for you guys up until now?
For Tottenham or in the league?
No, in general, in the league. Signing of the season for you.
For me, the ones that I really like is
Mahri. You got to pick one.
Okay. I'm gonna eliminate Madison because it's not the need that is not the important need that we needed, because we need center back. Declan Rice, because you guys have Partey, I don't want to say that. I'm actually going to say, because it was a very impressive to me, Pau Torres signing for Villa. I think that's the best signing. Like overall, I'm not saying the best player. I'm just saying the best signing the club could have done. Pau Torres to Aston Villa, for me, was good.
Yeah, for
I
the
had to
money.
give something.
Yeah, the money also was very good. Like it
Yeah.
was very
I would say
not
Pau Torres to Villa.
Stel, what about you? He wants to say Declan Rice, but he can't say it. That's why.
No, for that price, I wouldn't say it. Not for that price. If you got him for
He's
like
worth it,
80
Stel.
million, I would have said
He's worth it, man. He's quality.
100 million. Do you know something?
You could say Madison, like it's fine still. Like it's just
No, it's not Madison. It's not Madison.
Madison.
So hard to tell because I don't know. Do you know what? As it stands right now, I think McAllister to Liverpool's a top signing. I think McAllister for that price. For that price,
Come on.
I think that's exactly what they needed as well.
No,
but I'm telling you, let's see. Let's ask me at the end of the window. Let the window shut. Do this again. Let the window shut. Let me do it again.
Signing of the season. I mean, the obvious answer for me would be Declan Rice. But as Mahri said, looking at other factors,
look what Rams said. But Rams, man wants Rice to be shouted out. What did you shout out?
yeah, maybe. I was expecting Rice to be said, but no, I'm not picking Rice actually. Because of what happened last season and how our season collapsed because of Saliba's injury, I'm going to pick Jurrien Timber because this guy can play everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This guy can play everywhere. He can play right back, center back, and even as a 6. So for me, the signing and for the money that we got him, which was about 38 million quid, for me was, was just amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna pick him. But let's see. I mean, Villa are signing Diaby, which arguably could be an even better signing than Pau Torres, man. That's great. How are Villa signing Diaby?
Villa, no, I'm telling you, they're having of course, Arsenal's had their transfer when if City gets Guardiola United, but bang for their buck, Villa's doing good. Props to them. Props.
Like Diaby.
Here we go. Like that's a here we go. Here we go. Like Villa's doing business, and they're gonna win this conference league. You just know it.
Yeah, because of King Unai. So yeah, he's.
By the way, Murray, you just got to do a quick big up to Cogsy Enormous, what a name, and to Anthony Leffer for the super chats. Big up, guys. Big up to everyone in the chat as well tonight.
Yeah, big up to those guys. Thank you for the super chats. This was our very first episode, and like I said, with everything, you do a little chinks here and there, so there'll be a little chinks because it's good. I like when Will says this because Villa has good American owners.
No, well, it's half American, half Egyptian. Yeah, so yeah, it's not fully American anymore.
Half and half, but thank you guys. And next week we'll be back. And like I said, we'll have TJ TJ will contact Stefan along with myself. TJ is also contacting some other Arsenal personalities to come in. I'm also gonna have Tottenham people come in. So it'll be 3 against 3, sometimes 4 against 4. But it's going to be rowdy. This is only the beginning, right? This is, I would say, a calm episode. But even as a calm episode, you heard Chelsea will not make the top half. He said it.
Book it, guys. Book
he
it.
Said it.
You'll see. Book it. It's gonna be a disaster again from them.
Yeah.
And just to quickly shut up this. Listen. When a dumbass is a dumbass, I'm gonna hit back, right? I said the word spectators. I said that I called people that watch and don't get involved in what's happening are spectators. What are you struggling with? Yes, you are a liar, because I never called them lesser people, lesser fans. You claim I called them lesser fans for being spectators. Yes, you're a dumbass. Don't watch the show again. I couldn't care less, man. I couldn't care less. Anyway, now you can end it, Mahri.
On that note, signing off for Stefan, Stelios, and Mahri. We say thank you once again. And we're going to say, well, I usually say, it's the beginning of the season. I say, come on, Spurs, because I've been saying Levy out. So I'm going to say Levy out, come on, Spurs. I guess Stefan's going to say,
Levy in, come on, you Gunners. I'm joking, guys. Stel. I'm joking.
You can say what you want. It's a North London is our show. Do what you want.
I don't like Levy, but
good show. And that's what we love. We love the banter. This is what we like. We got banter. It's going to be much worse, trust me, as the season goes. All right, we're going to have box office next week. So,
oh my God.
It's going to be
Mahri,
wild.
I beg you, hit the outro. Hit the outro.
It's going to be,
hit the outro.
guys, it's going to be bang average next week.
Yes, bang average next
So
week.
that's the next day, yeah. It's going to be bang average. Yeah, so trust me, we're going to have all types of characters, man. My dream is to get expressions and troops here. And it could happen. It could happen. So North London is ours, and we're signing off.
See you guys. Thank you.